crap. Sorry for the respin. Welcome back. It has been too long. My apologies, obviously. Murph, work stress, all the things. Not going to make excuses, but, having the event and being able to enjoy the event this year quite a lot more thanks to our wonderful volunteers and staff made it enough for me to jump back in, at least every other week or once a month, depending on how life goes, as we all know. I know it's been way too long. I hope to have a few guests pop in. We'll see what happens. I know Pezla is currently going, so everyone's kind of over there. No big deal. We can talk a bit of Murph stuff and what the future looks like. You are right, Vicky, that you guys have a few more, but you also have been doing the volunteer thing a little longer. So in chat, we've got a whole bunch of people. Jerry commented hours ago. Hi, Jerry. I don't think you're watching. Obviously, Vicky. We've got Darth Gollum. We got Vasily, one of our volunteers. We got Clownhammer, one of our volunteers local here in the state. And then we got RC, and RC made it to the event again this year with his friend and was able to hang out at what we consider our most successful event, having 5,300 people come through the doors over 2 days, which was a lot of people. I was surprised the venue basically said anymore, and if it gets too much more, we'll have to do one in, one out. We'll see how it goes next year. It'll be interesting to see. I can tell everyone it's not in May next year. Once we have the contract signed, I can release those dates. Most people can guess where it's going to be, but it was insane to have that many people and just have that much fun. I quite enjoyed it a lot more. Once you figure out all the little things, it makes it more enjoyable and also goes by way faster. Hey, Steve, Layer X Layer. So that includes repeats on Sunday. So we had 3,600 in the doors on Saturday, which was more than our first year, including sponsors, makers, staff, and then including repeats. So Sunday, I know we had about 800 or so new, and then about 700 or so repeats based on the count at the door and the app. And our great volunteers, Love Foof and everyone else was able to manage that count a lot better. We were very happy with that. But it was a lot of people. I never thought we'd hit that many people. So we'll do it again as long as the venue will have us, right? Cool news, and I do need to pull the pictures, and we'll talk about this. In about 4 or 5 years, there's going to be a new event center on property. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's they just updated their website, of course, but let me see. It's been a while, so I got to get used to what StreamYard changed. Location. All right, so that is not the new place. So they're talking about a new hotel and event center. So if you look here where the mouth is, obviously this is our current venue. With some changes, they're going to blow out the venue and turn it into a ice skating rink. It will be the new building. It hasn't. They've got a flat, that out where the food trucks where it goes downhill. They're flattening that out, bringing in a massive amount of dirt, and then obviously it's just a rendering. You can kind of tell what's there now, what's there to be, but it'll have a hotel. It'll have 114,000 square feet of potential event space, which I don't want to try to fill that, but we could have a lot of fun if we did so. I think 60K would be nice. Bigger aisles, options for deeper booths, 15 or 20 foot deep booths, and just some more space. We can almost do the drag races in the building. So there's the horribly great rendering. This is no 26. This will probably be 2030, 2031. If the event survives that far, RC. But yes, I'm gonna need one of those like Segway up vehicle like this guy. So I'm it's not that anymore. They're not available anymore, but basically I'm gonna need something like this or something sit on. There's no way. I already blew through both of those on Saturday, so it'd be cool. I could say police, So we'll see. We've got time, Obviously, the event's got to survive that long, which is a challenge, as Vicky quite knows, making sure that the event continues. Thank you to Dave, who might be here tonight, for the amazing photography. He's a great subject matter expert. Yes, I'm basically there anyway. For this, for those of you that haven't seen the album, this is the album. Some amazing photos. He did a really great job this year. Really caught the event, the heart of it. Oh, and we've got a Zach. So he's in his car. So who knows? Headphone warning. Zach in his car.
I'm actually in Sarah's car.
In a car, some car. Oh look, dash roof view, rear view, mirror view. Love it.
Yeah. So this is the car I got Sarah a little while back that we've been fighting overheating issues, and I just replaced the radiator in it. So now I'm driving it around to see if it'll overheat.
Right. Just showing off here. Vicky, that was the line out the door about 8:30 or 8:45, about 15, 20 minutes before the event opened, which was insane. Luckily, it was a little warmer having it in May. We had a massive amount of people just waiting to get in. It's great to see all of these, like the interactions, the heart that's given, just everybody's so happy to just be there. In our beautiful new speaking area. Just so much good stuff. The smiles all around. 55 death racers, which was insane. I guess that's a record. This thing should not have won, but it's okay. Just so much stuff. Like, I do love our new space, though. There's tons of videos. You go to the Rumor YouTube channel, and there's a playlist. I'm trying to build the playlist as things get released. And Zach's back, and yeah, it was amazing just to see the pure.
I'm back. My audio's being weird.
Yep, Yep, I can hear you. But just the sheer amount, it was insane.
It's weird.
Yep, his audio's messed. The talks are currently available on the YouTube. I'm working on cutting them and fixing some of the audio issues for individual talks and things. So we'll see what happens there. Just everyone's so excited for it. Things like the the big Rumor Flexi logo, which I have back here somewhere. But yeah, definitely was awesome. So we'll talk more about that as things go on. But yeah, hopefully we'll get Zach back. I know he's having audio issues. Yeah, just great talks. But the nice thing now this year is with the talks being recorded and live streamed, I can go back and review them and watch them. I know, and we told him staying till 9, but one of them shut down at 5, The other one wanted to leave a little early, and the other one is our favorite food truck, Southern Twist. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna share back to this screen. We had a little bit of fun with the dragsters. I know Vicky remembers at Earth we smashed a few into the wall. This time we jumped a few. Next year we'll have a better jump. It will be a lot more fun. Look, there's a Zach. Um, just so much cool stuff. Yes, jumps. I mean, the wall's quite fun. I laughed so hard smashing Scott's dragster into that wall at full power. It was just a blast. There's video of them airborne too, but let's see. Let's see if he's back again.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Again. Yep. Can you hear us? No? No. He's broken. Fix your audio. And there's a almost 3D printed McLaren. It's funny, when he got back and unloaded it at his house, the front bumper ran into something and basically fell apart. But that'll get fixed as time goes on. Jason doing Jason things, giving away stuff. And yes, we've heard Zach, but I don't think he can hear us. Print Talk bringing their own streaming rig. I don't know why there's a picture of my printer that I sold, but that's okay. He's having audio issues, trying to route audio like a phone call. I'm not surprised by that. But the UForge booth was awesome. Every booth was awesome. Like, I didn't even realize that this was there. It's so hard to catch everything, especially with the volume of people. Next year, my big goal is going to be to try to see everything. I did better this year. I was able to see more of the stuff. And thank you to our good volunteer lead, Zura, and my wife managed the volunteers, which is a lot of work. Everyone needs to know what they're doing, what's next, any issues, things like that. I do need to rename the Maker Lounge. But great action shots of broken things. I actually want to build one of these, and there's it's Bot Rumble. They're local here in Colorado, and I want to try to build one and see how long it won't last. Just amazing to see the carnage. They brought their own thing. The whole time there was battles, that thing's just rattling. It was insane. This guy's been a staple the last few years, showing off just crazy cool stuff. This is Paul's thing. He's been at, I think, both events or all three events many a time. Just absolutely crazy to see what people come up with. Yes, that was a very nice thing to have. We had a few audio issues, a few lighting issues. We're going to rename it because we had a few people like, what's the Maker Lounge? It sounds private. It sounds like it's a private area. So we're working with some names. I like the Melt and Make stage, but it just doesn't fully catch the thing. We'll see how it goes. Great chatting photo. So this guy on the right is actually Christoph with Formext. He came all the way. It was great to chat with him, to see. Oh, good thing is I have them all recorded and they'll be live, or you can actually watch them now. But yeah, I know. See, we had signs. We had big signs. But again, we had two big signs, between each hall. But it sounds like a private area, like a break room. But anyway, Christoph coming, since he runs an additive show, not a 3D printing show so much like what we do. He really enjoyed the differences between the community and all that. That's why we do it. So I'm hoping to get to form next one of these years and support him because he supported us. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna try to fix that for next year. Something with stage, something with speaking area. We've got plenty of time. If I can get Fabrico to sponsor it again, we'll call it the Honey Badger stage. But we'll see what happens. You know, Shane with his potatoes, tripod with his enclosed laser, which he was able to run. I forgot that they brought Copperhead and one other bot from Brazil, which is really cool that they get to bring that stuff. These bots are so cool. I definitely need to build something like that. Just so much fun. And of course, and there's video of this, but my wife surprised me with a birthday party celebration, even though my birthday was the 22nd. She threw me this big secret party, cake, and basically had 150 of my closest friends sing to me and had me do a speech, which I don't do speeches, but I did because it's family, and cake and all that. So forgot to look at this guy, the Polar printer. That thing's been growing. It's been there every years. Yes, I know you do. Don't no video live anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? That is a cool combo. They sponsored Joel in, which is nice. Here's the photo of me and Mike and Christoph just chatting. I knew Dave was there taking the photo, but and of course the segue. We've got to get Vicky out here for the event one of these years. Hey, there's Zach right there. Zach and someone has the code. That's great. Zach and his team, 4 random people put together. No, just they won the thing. Yeah, it'd be great to have you next year. Let me know. I'll get you a thing. I'm looking to go to Earth. There's some scheduling stuff that may or may not make it possible, but we'll see what happens. No, it won't coincide next year. The only reason it did this year was because of Easter destroying our April dates. So just this was insane to have 180 seats and all that kind of stuff. Just the thought process and the people in Zombie. He flew with this thing. He's nuts, but he flew with it. Then Luke's lab with the empty tube things. Just so much cool stuff. I can't even imagine. It was nice though. It's gotten so smooth that getting out of the event only was like we were out in 4 hours from close out to last person out the door. It was like 4 hours, which was insanity. Last year was like 9:30. This year was much better. So just all these faces and enjoyable. Hey, Jeno. I don't know. I don't know if you're available. I thought I sent you a link, but I may not have. I did. Okay. Yeah, it was insane to get tear down. It was just nuts. To be able to. These are some of my 600 maker chip capsules I printed for K2 and Pezlas and them. There's my wife right there. My cousin. There's some volunteers helping out. Cake makes right there. Yeah, it was a lot smoother. Hey, there's me on a Segway carrying an 8-foot table. Yes, I'm that good. Yes, I'm patting my chest for that. But people are looking like, how do you do that? Just balance, you know. This thing's made some miles going back and forth. Just insanity. So, yes, more than once. Yes. So, I sorry, worked all day, and wife's got some trainings remotely to Australia. Yes, Jeff, he makes it everywhere. They're really growing their setup. Um, so the knee was fine. It was the hip that actually took the brunt of the impact. And I hate going to the chiropractor, but I chose to. It's a chain. I've been there twice. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to keep going. I could have just left it, but a week ago. I barely could walk at work. So we'll see. We'll see how the adjustments are. I get 2 more free visits, and I'll cancel and go from there. But it was miserable. I guess it was. I knew it would be a big compression, but I fell last year on my hip. On my hip, funny enough, or on my butt. I don't remember. And then this year I fell. Yeah, so it's funny. Back over by the talk area, where the photo of me, Mike, and Christoph was taken. If I can find it, there's this pipe and drape that was hanging down. And this was Sunday, and I needed to do the intro for one of the talks, since we don't have a host for the Maker Lounge yet. And then I rolled through them, and they caught my wheels, and I fell forward. So it happens. I'm trying to be careful, but I was also in a rush, trying to get outside in time for the dragsters. Still looking for the photo. There it is. Let's see, share screen. Yeah, so behind where I'm standing, that pipe and drape is kind of a separator, which we could have used for a better green room, but it's okay. And yep, rolled right through and fell, got right back on the Segway like it was nothing. Yeah, that's the hard part, Jano. I was running around between the Maker Lounge, making sure things were set up. We had people in there, but handing out microphones and making sure the projector's working, and we'll have someone more tasked for that next year. But you grow and you grow. The coverage is great. It's just insane to see how we've grown in 2 years. Thankful to Varys and Albie for fixing my dragster so I could probably jump it and break it. It's not like I can't fix it. It was quite a lot of fun to do that. Just like smashing him into the wall. Now smashing the wall, it wasn't mine, but I didn't care. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get a couple guests in here soon. I did get surprised, so obviously my wife threw me that little party. I had a feeling like it was gonna be something small, like my brother-in-law's girlfriend and my nephew came, and then I thought it was just gonna be a little like, here, have some cake, sing me happy birthday. But it was bigger, especially when they announced it over the thing and everyone walks into the break room. And then it was great. Buddy of mine that I've known for 5 years, great guy. He actually moved to Uruguay about 3 months ago, and one of his sons was graduating college, and so he came back. It happened to be the same weekend, and he surprised us. I'm just rolling around the Segway, and he yells my name, and I'm used to people yelling my name because you're needed. And I turn around, it's this guy, and it's like I almost fell off my Segway trying to hug him. So hopefully he'll make it again next year. It's a little different with the time, but maybe I'll go to Uruguay. Who knows? Ooh, bad. I charged this headset. Oh my god. Headset saying it's low, which is fun. I don't have anything to charge it with me. I don't have a long cable. That's my problem. My power. Charged this last night, so yeah, the Segway. Unfortunately, it's based on a sensor. And not everything is the smoothest. Let's see. If I lose audio, we'll find out. I might have. Let's see. Yep. All right. I'm gonna have to just turn off the headset. That'll be great. Audio through the speakers. Speakers. Okay. Yep. I'm still here. Just apparently need to charge my headset. I swore I charged it. I do have an alternate option. Of course, in the middle of the stream, right? Let's see. Bluetooth. Hook up my other headset option. Add Bluetooth. Bluetooth. And the problem is living in an apartment, there's a ton of Bluetooth happening. Come on. Yeah, it was fun trying to keep the Segway from rolling away. I'd get off and it'd end up like down the hall. There's got to be a better way for that. Come on. There they are. Trying to get my Bluetooth headset hooked up. All right, let's try it this way. Audio is probably all messed up. Let's test. Okay. Now we'll see what happens. At least they're working. Not like I need to listen to much. Everyone's still not here. I know, getting used to doing this again. Yeah. I do wish we could charge for tickets because then we could have an after party like the 3D Utopia guys. Ooh, Scott's here. Scott, what's going on? Long time no see.
Yeah. Keep reminding me that I missed the biggest party of the year.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I get it, dude. I get it. We've talked, so it was a blast.
I wasn't going to any events this year, and now because I missed Rocky Mountain, they have me going to Murph and Earth.
Really?
Yeah.
They're dragging you out, huh?
Yeah. So anyway, won't happen next year.
Yep. Oh yeah. Here's a picture of some fun we had. I'm sure you saw some video.
Well, I've seen all of it. I was watching I was just eating dinner and I was watching you go through all the pictures. So
yeah, little bit of fun. Me and Rich taping our dragsters together to jump them. And this was a little more fun than banging them into walls. As much as I love doing that.
Yeah. But you didn't bang your dragster into the wall. That happened to be one of mine.
Oh, I know. Trust me. How many times did I ask you about banging that thing into the wall?
I actually had a few pieces of that one left in here the other day because I took the rear tires off of it and mailed them to Albie.
Yep.
I think is who his, I don't know what his real name is, but
no.
he spoke up, so I mailed him a set of tires. I don't know if he used them or not, but
right. I think he did because we were talking, we were checking everyone's tires out.
Yeah.
No, that was fun. We need a bigger jump next year.
I have some new stuff to use to make tires out of.
Nice.
The problem is well, it's resin, and
oh yeah,
I don't have a resin printer with a bed big enough to print dragster tires.
Yet.
Yeah. Resin printer companies just don't sponsor me, so
Yeah.
um,
We can always talk to Akuma and see what he's willing to do for you.
you know.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
I
sure he's
say,
got a printer.
Mark Piopoli sent me some resin to try out, or Vic, or one of the
Yeah.
guys over at Soraya Tech. Piopoli sent me some TPU and some resin that they wanted me to give a try, and so I want to do a set of dragster tires. But like I say, my little tiny build plate for my my resin printer, it's not going to hold a dragster tire.
That might do the front ones pretty well.
It'll do the front tires, but it's not going to do the back tires. I mean,
right.
I guess I could print them standing up. I don't know how well that would work.
I don't think that. I mean, you could. The amount of support you'd need, though, wouldn't make it worth it.
Because here's another set. This was printed with the foaming rubber.
Oh, nice
core, but that's actually a foaming rubber core, so they weigh nothing.
Right.
There's literally
you need
no
a
weight,
little
and
bit.
it's got
You need
the
some
60A
powder.
band on it, and I mean, it would just barely fit the print volume if I printed it standing up, but I don't think rubber would hold its own weight.
No, and
going
you need
up
a
and down
little.
like
You need a little bit of weight to get some traction on that. And of course,
Yeah,
that's.
you know what? I never have weighed these. Let's see how many grams these foaming rubber tires are.
And Clownhammer's asking, what's the traction like on those?
What's the traction like on them?
Yeah.
You can't spin them. You've seen that.
Yeah.
70.94 grams is what that weighs total. That's core and the rubber. That's weighs
insane.
well. No, it's glued, so
Yeah.
I can still peel it.
We've got UForge Steve.
Hey
Hey,
guys.
Steve, how's it going?
All right, how are you?
Good. I feel like I saw you somewhere recently.
Somewhere.
Now, that's the guy that sold me a commercial license, and I have yet to print a single UForge cover.
Oh, I've printed one.
You are both my gym members who come once
Yes,
to the gym,
yes.
get a membership.
Just like
It's
my
called
membership
supporting
to
the
gym.
community.
They
Yeah,
take
no, I don't
they
keep
take a
charging
cut
every
every
month.
month, and I don't
No,
participate.
once a year.
I don't
So-
keep charging every month, so
the just the foaming rubber core is 45 grams,
Jeez.
and then this is the Clown Hammer. Does that give you some kind of idea about what kind of traction I can get out of this?
No.
hey, it's Jano. I've seen him
Hello.
recently.
Yeah, Mr. Jano himself.
Hello, everyone.
There's no way I can get this to stay on my little, because everybody has a sub-microgram scale on their desk, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And metal business cards.
Yes. You got to have the metal business cards.
I can't weigh the rubber by itself. I can't get it to stay on the. But that's a pretty damn light tire.
Yeah.
And I had every intention of running these at Earth or 3D Printopia, and I don't know why they never made it on a dragster, but I have some more of that foaming rubber.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but
Well-
yeah, I want to try to print tires with that. Supposedly this stuff here that Vic and Mark sent me is supposed to be an even softer rubber than this 60A. So,
Dang.
I mean, you look at that 60A, it's
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I gave my roll to Thunder Keys when he came by to look at my box turtle that week before the event.
Have you ever tried that Vario Shore filament? That stuff's
I have
fun to
not.
play with if you want softer durometer prints. That stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen people talk about it and I've heard about it, but personally, I've never tried it. In fact,
great.
most recently, I went and reached up in the way back space where things should be left that burn houses down. and that thing's been printing for 2 solid weeks. Well, a week and a half.
Hold on.
So, how many people even know what that is?
That'd
That's
be an
an
ANET AA, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
When
you
you say
should put it
plywood, I don't know it by sight. I know it
No.
by burns houses down.
Yes.
All of the stuff that I printed for the Polymaker HTPLA release yesterday was all done on the ANET A8.
Oh, geez.
Oh wow.
So, and for those that haven't watched the video yet,
Have not.
so this is printed in Polymaker's high tint PLA, and this is not the glass filled version. This is just the regular, and this is the dual gradient fire grading or whatever.
Mhm.
Annealed at 110 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, and then I put these in ovens or in an oven, and I started heating stuff up. And everybody talks about ASA and ABS. Well, I didn't have an ABS in there, but I did have an ASA in there. But aside from that, I ran the oven up to 150 degrees, and this is what happened to the ASA.
Oh, my God.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Wow.
This is what happened to polycarbonate.
Dang.
Okay. This is what happened to COPE, not to be confused with COPA. This is
Right.
COPE, which they just call penchroma.
Right.
Anyway, so there's for reference. This is ASA. Everybody says you have to build your high temp printers and that
Yeah.
out of ASA. This is untouched Polyterra PLA. Same oven as this right here.
What the hell?
150 degrees Celsius. This is untouched silk PLA. Same oven, 150 degrees Celsius. Now the high temp PLA, it held up well as well. Now that's heating this up with no load. It's just its own weight.
Right.
So the other test I ran on everything was, get this over here, because these right here, I hang 50 grams of weight. You can see the length of the arm. So it's 100 millimeters from the center of the bolt hole to the center of where that eye screws in. It's 100 millimeters, 10 millimeters wide, 4 millimeters thick. And it's printed, they're printed solid. And I heat them, put them in the oven, you can see sometimes they just turn into the goo and the hooks fall off completely. But ran this through the oven, and I started at, I think, 60 degrees and ran it up to, I believe it was 130 or 140. I'd have to go back and watch the video. But these four right here are the new high temp PLAs, and this was unannealed here for the glass fiber filled. This was annealed here, and it held up longer, but it failed, and it actually broke right up here.
Oh, catastrophically.
This is the unannealed straight HTPLA, and this is the annealed high temp PLA. And I heated it to the point of failure with the weight on it, but their claim of being able to withstand up to 110 degrees Celsius with weight, there was a little bit of sagging on these, but not anything serious at 110. And I just kept taking the temperature up, and I finally stopped at 140. But if you want to see something really funny, look at what happened here with the this ASA. Is the 3DX Max ASA. It actually shrunk.
Oh wow!
Dang.
Oh yeah,
so
it's way smaller.
This right here is pretty close to the same length as what it started at, and this is, of course, the hook sticking out or hanging out of it. But that ASA it shrunk, so it was weird what that did. But here's the best one. Is one other test that I developed myself, kind of a functional test, is This right here, and this box is 25 by 25 millimeters printed. This is the high temp PLA, and I did it on the video, but just to show everybody again, it printed at 25 millimeters. It's 24.98 mil.
Damn.
So no shrinkage. 24.95. So very minimal shrinkage. We're talking hundredths of a millimeter shrinkage. The unsupported arm here, it's still parallel to the base. There is a very slight curvature to the back where it's tipped in a little bit, but this was at 150 degrees, so it did really good. I'm trying to find a machinist angle here. Here's one. So you can see, I don't know if the light will come through or not.
A little bit.
Just
a hair.
Yeah.
Tiny bit right there where it started to tip. So that was the high temp PLA.
And that's not the glass fiber?
No, this wasn't the glass fiber. This was just the straight HTPLA.
Dang.
The one I printed out of this in glass fiber, I actually I lost it. We're not going to go into how that happened.
Things get lost? No.
This is the Polyterra PLA. Again, it held on pretty good. It's got a little more sag to the wall there.
So that's just plain Polyterra, not high temp.
This is just plain Polyterra PLA. Black Polyterra. I don't even know where the hell the roll's at to show you.
Charcoal
But
black.
It's just straight Polyterra. And now the silk PLA, it didn't do as well. It's dangling all the way down. And obviously got a whole lot of, but wait, here's the best one. Everybody's polycarbonate. Here's the polycarbonate.
Oh.
Flattened.
No, it's not only is it flattened, but look,
Yeah.
the little box, it shrunk on 2 axes and then it grew a whole lot on the 3rd axis.
We got 2 questions from RC. Did you try other HTPLA?
I don't know of another HTPLA, and no, I did not try it.
Protopasta.
Protopasta, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were always annealed, right?
And then also any stress tests, not necessarily heated, because PLA is known to stress creep.
I have not gotten that far with this stuff yet. I have a full-time job, and this YouTube video testing stuff, breaking things over here on this machine is I break stuff on this for personal satisfaction.
Yes. Destruction.
Nice.
It's fun.
Yes.
I mean, I can switch cameras and we can fire it up and break some shit if you'd like.
We're always. I mean, might as well. It's been.
I have some PA12 here. Let me get a camera set up here, and I'll get a camera on this right quick, and we'll break some PA12.
Got one of our volunteers from the event, Clown Hammer.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Does anybody need a cough drop? No.
No, just got to turn it right. I got to turn your audio down just a little.
Okay.
RC, by the way, I would assume it would still creep because it is still PLA. It's mostly about temperature changes. I doubt you would adjust stress creep just because you change temperature, but who knows? Who knows for sure?
Right.
Hey, Jano, by the way, if you thought you heard your name yelled in the Denver airport and couldn't find who it was me and Adam.
I found Adam in the airport. He said he was meeting you up in the fancy airport club. So,
well, I couldn't get him in because he didn't have a United ticket. All he needed was a United ticket, but he didn't have one. It's not that fancy, but it was nice to spend like an hour and a half there. So what we found out was you can get to the airport too early.
Yes.
They won't take your luggage more than 4 hours in advance.
Yes, that's correct.
So Ian and Adam had the latest flights, and we had one car. Well, we had 2, but the other people had to go even earlier. So Ian and Adam had to sit at check-in desk and wait to be 4 hours from their flight before they could come back.
Yep.
So I felt bad, but there wasn't really much else I could do because I needed to get my car in and get in.
They could have taken the train to Denver and gotten shot on the train, Clownhammer knows.
So yeah, Adam had told me he saw you,
Yeah.
and then we saw you walking into the terminal with like some food, and we called your name, and you looked around a little bit, but then you walked off. I guess he said you were going to wait with your girlfriend or whatever. So
Yeah, I must have. I probably didn't hear you, but
well, you looked around, and then you didn't see us. And we're like, okay, he's on his own thing. He's going home. That's cool. But
yeah, that Monday leaving was a very very long day.
Right. Yeah.
But sorry I missed you.
Well, we talked during the show. We got to talk during the show. Just saw you. It's like, oh, it's Jano, and you were like, what?
Right.
All right, I'm gonna keep walking. I don't see anyone.
Yeah, I ended up. Ironically enough, I ended up walking that entire terminal. Looking
Well, I'll preload it while they're talking, Justin.
Okay.
So I'll preload it, and then we'll take bets on what it's going to break at.
Nice.
It's PA12.
Ironically enough, I was walking through the entire
Yeah,
terminal.
it's PA12 carbon fiber.
You went the whole terminal?
Oh, because my girlfriend was asking me. She's like, "Go walk around and find what there's to eat, and then let me know what's out there."
Right. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's ready to pull.
Right.
So
All
what
right.
are we betting on for strength here?
Is
This is unannealed PA12 carbon fiber.
I can't even guess.
I
It was Terminal
wouldn't
A,
even-
RC. You were like 26 or 28 or something like that.
Yeah,
28?
it was kind of near the end of the terminal. It was in the nicer new section.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was at 25, and I came into the I was in the airport, and I'm like walking to my terminal. I'm like, oh wait, where is the club anyway? And I look on my phone. It said at terminal or at gate A25. I'm like, that's my gate. That works.
I like how it's propped up above everybody, so like you look down at everybody that's not in the club,
You
and
can people watch.
This was about 3:30, by the way, RC.
yeah, this is like
3:30.
Early evening.
Look, it's pulling
My-
200
You're at
kilograms.
200
Yeah,
kilos.
220
Wow.
kilograms right now.
Oh,
That's
that's kilograms.
kilograms,
Kilograms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
not
crap.
newtons. Kilograms.
It's going to
Have
break
you done-
around
Oh, here it comes.
7280, I'm betting.
Yeah, it's starting to stall, or it's starting to flatline. It looks
Yep,
like
275.
Oh, there's.
We're going to break 300.
Dang. Maybe.
Maybe, unless it
I don't
all
have
of a
my
sudden
safety
stays like
glasses on,
before.
so I got to turn my back and watch.
No,
I mean,
Look it up.
we're gonna
It
get
looks
there.
like it's gonna break 300. Yep,
Yep.
but
Past
we're starting to
300.
give.
Now, can you hear her?
Hi, Justin. How are you?
Well, here's the problem.
Good, you?
I only set it to pull 6 millimeters, and we're not going to peak out at 6, so we're going to have to pull a second piece.
Oh, geez.
It's going to stop at 6. There we go.
Yep. Oh, wow.
319.1 kilograms at 6 millimeters. So
Wow.
Jeez.
let me. I'll set it to pull a full 60 millimeters and see how far it'll actually go.
Right. That's nuts. Holy crap.
have you done that with the new HTPLA stuff yet?
Yeah, it's all on my video that I uploaded yesterday morning.
Oh, okay.
I didn't show videos of it breaking, but I did all these tests with it. Let's get this is another unannealed piece, so we'll let me preload it and then we'll run it and it'll pull all the way out to 60 millimeters, so it should break it.
Wow.
In fact, here's some of the HTPLAs. Here's one that didn't break.
Oh, my
It
God.
just it kind of tore.
Mhm.
And then the ones that did break on the annealed stuff all broke really differently. This is they all broke clear up in the head there, and they all
Dang.
broke exactly
Interesting.
like that.
Oh wow.
Huh.
So, but here we go. We'll let it go again, and I still don't have safety glasses in here. So.
It's only safety if it's OSHA.
Yeah, you only get one set of eyes, man, and they can't fix
I
it
know.
when you tear them up.
Right.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
true.
true.
I have a good friend that had was just made a captain's seat on a major airline and everything else, and was out mowing his yard with or weed whacking his yard with no safety glasses on,
Yeah.
and something took out one of his eyes, and he lost his, his dream, his
Yeah.
lifetime career.
Oh yeah.
So what this will do is this will pull at 72 hertz until I think 10 millimeters, and if at that point it hasn't broke, it'll speed up. It'll double.
Mhm.
Wow.
Nuts.
But now I got to mark on this one that it's already been pulled, or I'll forget and try to stretch it again.
Right.
Now, is this a custom machine you built, or is this a machine you bought from a company or a?
I designed and built every bit of that myself.
Yep.
Oh wow!
I machined all the parts on my Milo. I did all the programming on it. The purchase parts obviously are like the lead screws, the bearings, the load cell.
It broke.
The screen, but the gears are 3D printed. They're just, I don't even know what the hell they're printed out of, nylon of some sort.
Yeah.
And all of these custom parts here, that's all stuff that I machined myself on my Milo. And then I have this part here that I machined, and I use that for testing both heat sets and regular just direct thread to plastic. So like on this one here, the direct thread to plastic, I'll just take and screw that in there, and I've got marks on these threads at 4 millimeters. So screw that in there to 4 millimeters. Let me reset the machine, and then we'll see how well that holds direct threads.
Print busters.
Yeah. See if that helps. That helped a little bit.
Right. You all recovered there, Clone Hammer?
What's that?
You all recovered?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I wasn't too bad considering I wore my boots for 3 days. Well, I wear those every day. I wear those every day anyway. But I did a car show and walked 5 miles in them, and it didn't bother me. So,
Yeah, I was exhausted on Monday. We had a few people over that afternoon, and then Tuesday was still tired. And then I had 3D Print Bunny and her husband. We had 3D Print Bunny and her husband over for a long 6-7 hours. Just hung out and chatted, ordered in food, enjoyed our time.
Nothing wrong with that.
Then I had to go back to work Wednesday.
I did fall asleep sitting here while I was in a meeting.
After that event, it can be, I mean, it's exhausting. It's like everyone needs another 2 days to sleep before they go home.
Yeah, and Lisa, Cakes Make, she had to go to work at 2:30 just to leave at 2:30, get up at 2:30 in the morning. So we got home and she went right to bed. So
right.
But we ended up swinging into Hudson and having dinner there on our way home, and
right.
And I didn't miss the turn and almost end up in Wiggins. So that's.
You're still in Colorado at that point.
I mean, it was like it should have been a turn here at some point, but small towns don't have street lights. Oh yeah,
many a time. I've almost missed my work turn on the tired mornings.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I work from home, so I'm never late for work because I live here.
Lucky. I would like to have a hybrid job where I can work from home 2 or 3 days a week.
I dispatch out every so often, but I mean, I had a 2019 Ford Transit with 20,000 miles that they pulled back from me, so you can tell how often I actually left the house.
Right.
But,
yeah, I work in my basement, so
yeah.
But that also means I'm never off work. Right? It's hard to be off work, so.
Yeah.
I do work remote as well, and it's great. And then there's times where it's like I really wish I was in an office just because I get so distracted.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Who? Scott?
Keep tapping your mic. It's
Scott. Did Mike die or?
His mic died or something.
That'd be the second one tonight.
No, it's got power.
Yeah, it's green.
Yeah, so I used to work, when I worked in the office, and then we all went, fully remote during COVID, and then I had summer interns, and so even when everyone else was fully remote, I started coming in 3 or 4 days a week with them. So I was doing hybrid. We had gotten to basically 3 and 2, and most of us just chose to come in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Our team meeting was always on Tuesday, and then we do Wednesday, Thursday, and then have long weekends at home. But
I've been work remote for 10 years, so when COVID hit, it was kind of funny to look out the window and see my neighbors wandering around. They didn't know what to do with themselves. There you go.
I heard that for a moment. Then it went away.
So,
he gone.
Yeah, it was.
He's gone. Hold on. Yeah, he'll be back.
It was funny. One of the ladies, she's out wearing a pantsuit and high heels, walking around the neighborhood. I'm like, working from home, huh? She's like, yeah, I don't know what to do with yourself. No, I said, give it about 3 weeks. You'll tune in. Sure enough. Next time I saw her, she's wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt.
Yep, it is.
There you go.
There
I
we
don't
go.
know what it was. I had to leave and come back, and I heard you guys, because I've got to playing out in the other room. I heard somebody saying they hear me now, but I'd already clicked out of there. So
Yeah, you were.
We heard
you tapping.
We heard a tap, and then we stopped hearing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, that I did just pull that the threaded or the direct thread, and it's still up on the screen. But so direct threaded into that with this tool right here was at 52 kilograms that held, threaded into there. So
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and there's
52 kilograms on small threads and a plastic.
Well, here's a heat set insert on an annealed part, because I don't have the heat sets in the unannealed parts. But no, I was starting to tell Jana on that is what I do on this is I preload everything to 5 kilograms of force, and then zero everything out and start from there. That way, any little nubs or anything that might be sticking out in here, it smashes those, so it basically starts from a level playing field. But like right now, it's still loading this up, and then you'll see the percentage of the preload will start to climb really fast. Then when it gets to 5 kilograms of force, it'll stop. And then I just hit the button again, and it starts it from 0 millimeters and starts pulling. And then it'll stop when it detects a break. And a break is a real rapid drop in force or 50% of the peak.
Okay, that makes sense, because you could be giving and not really seeing it.
Mhm.
Well, see, it's giving right now because it peaked at 110 and it's still dropping.
Okay.
Then it finally stopped. So that was after it pulled the part out. That was 110 kilograms that it held on that heat set. And it basically, if you look there, it just drug it out of the part.
Right, it pulls it out.
So
did you mill
anyway,
that? Did you mill that mouth on your Milo?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, all the aluminum on there was done on the Milo. So
That's
cool.
awesome.
That Milo, man, I love it. It's quite a piece of machinery.
Yeah, I think the Milo is awesome, and if I were not too busy to ever use it, I would totally get one and build one. But I could maybe make the time to build one, and then I'd be like, I don't have time to learn how to use it. So
Okay, so to be totally transparent, I wouldn't have bought a Milo kit myself. All right, I wouldn't spend that kind of money on something like that. The reason I have a Milo is Hector got his kits very late last year, right before Rocky Mountain, and he wanted one on display at Rocky Mountain. And he knew that if he sent it to me, it would make it to Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
But here was the real funny part. I really like that color green right there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I got this Milo all finished and did its first cut, and I'd used that green, which is I'm out of it. It's a polymaker color. Anyway, got this Milo all finished up, milled its first piece. It's like a week before Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival, and Hector tells me that Rat Rig is shipping their what was the new Rat Rig that was there last year?
VCore 4.
They're shipping me the VCore 4 and their Rat Rig mini mill to my house for me to bring to Rocky Mountain. So you're going to have a Rat Rig green mini mill in the booth and a Milo that was printed pretty much in Rat Rig green. So I had to reprint all the parts of the Milo in red, and the only red I had was Galaxy Red, which I don't much care for Galaxy when it comes to parts that are going to be under stress, because the pretty sparkle shit in Galaxy is aluminum dust, and it makes parts weaker. But I did it so we could have it to show at the event, and it's still in Galaxy Red. It works fine. And I still have the Rat Rig mini mill. It's out in the shed. I never have reassembled it from. We had to take it apart to get it in the damn trailer to get home from Rocky Mountain, and I never have put it back together. It's sitting out in the shed.
Yeah.
So Scott, have you seen the Boron Cascade?
I have.
I'm going to be building a beta kit and doing some beta testing with them in the near future. I still have all the parts for a Milo, and I've just never built it. I've sourced it pre-kit, and I can use it. I could totally use it, but why use it when I could just go to work and use a Haas?
Yeah, like I say, mine's the LDO kit. Now, the kit that Hector initially sent me didn't have a spindle. Okay. And so I initially built it because when he told me that he was sending me this kit, but it wouldn't have a spindle, I went and ordered a spindle. I went and found out what everybody was ordering, and I don't remember what the hell the brand. It's out here in the hallway still. So I ordered it, the water-cooled dual ball bearing or triple ball bearing, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And then as I'm building it, all of a sudden, FedEx shows up here at my house with a box from LDO and an LDO spindle. Oh. So I have an extra spindle now as well. But like I say, to be totally transparent on it, I would have never spent that kind of money for a milling machine because it's just not it's not something I do enough that I could justify having it. And the milling machine itself is not the expensive part. When people don't realize in these mini mills, when you're talking about milling metal, the machine itself is not the expensive part. It's the frickin' tooling.
No, it's not. Yeah. You're buying it from the wrong place.
Yeah, it's the tooling.
How much do you pay for an aluminum cutting 1/8 inch end mill?
I have absolutely no idea. I just click buy now and it shows up.
So here's the thing: tooling is subject to a lot of needless marketing and hype, where you pay really high dollar for you really don't need it. Like on these machines, a 2-flute end mill is plenty, and here is a carbide 2-flute end mill in an 1/8 inch for $4.30.
Yeah,
and at the show, this is so many people who are just getting into these little hobby mills think that tooling is crazy expensive, like $30-$40 a piece. And here's one for $4.
Yeah. Like I say, I have no idea. I know over the years when I've had machines and stuff, that's where most of my money went, was in fixtures and tooling, not the machines themselves. But
yeah, I mean, like when you're doing like bigger machines, industry standard stuff, yeah, that can get expensive. But, when you buy from like, Kennametal has the Harvey line, and then, all of it like Seco, they're going to sell you $30 1/8 inch end mills. when you can just go to this website. These guys are USA, made in US in South Carolina. And if Justin will show my screen.
Yep, on it.
$4.30. It's dirt cheap. From Seco, this would be $30.
Yeah, there was a company name that Turtle Crawler gave me to, I don't remember what it was, that for tooling, and I looked at it, but it was pretty damn expensive, so I wound up buying Chinese stuff from AliExpress.
And that's the crazy thing is you could still, this is still cheaper than some AliExpress stuff. Especially considering it's coming from South Carolina instead of, Shenzhen. Especially now, but even before we had any kind of issues with tariffs. But yeah, there's a coated. I wouldn't necessarily run this one. I would run the uncoated one. $8. You want to get fancy, you can go with something like a coated. $10. Like, it's crazy how cheap you could get this stuff.
Well, so far I've only damaged one end mill. I've only damaged one tool with this Milo, and it wasn't cutting or anything like that. Was taken out of the collet and didn't. I have a piece of foam rubber that I lay on my workpiece, so if it slips out of the collet when I'm undoing it, it doesn't hit the metal. Well, I didn't lay that piece of rubber on there because I'd gotten really good for the last hour that I was cutting, holding my finger under it, changing tools. Well, I didn't have my finger under it. It dropped straight down, hit the piece of aluminum, and chipped one of the teeth on it. And, it's good for side cutting now, but I can't do anything face with it.
That's the thing that sucks about carbide is it is brittle. It is so brittle.
Yeah. But it's hard. Many really hard things are brittle.
Yeah. It's a trade-off. Mm-hmm. We got a piece at work that's titanium, and that's the kind of thing where tooling is your main expense, because that stuff is so hard it eats up everything you throw at it, and it can actually be worthwhile to skip like the budget options like I was showing and go for really expensive tools. We had a guy from Seco showing us. Carbide is relatively new in machine working. The previous hotness was like cobalt and high-speed steel.
Right.
The thing with high-speed steel is it's not as hard as carbide is, so it's got a little bit more flex to it. And he's selling us on these high-speed steel end mills to cut aluminum with because it is such a difficult material to cut. Having a floppier tool that you can't run as fast actually saves time because you're wearing it out less.
Well, and aluminum is relatively soft, so it's not going to be dulling your. It's not like you're trying to cut,
No, I'm cutting
hard
titanium.
metal with it. So yeah.
You'd be surprised how much damage aluminum will do to bits, even though it's softer metal. The problem with aluminum is it'll heat up and it'll bond to the bit itself and gall the bit, and then you'll break the bit off.
Yeah, that's another issue that you run into with the little hobby mills is those routers are really, they're kind of spec'd out to do wood and plastics. You really need lower speed for metalworking. But I mean, from what I've seen, aluminum will work fine. You get that galling when you're using a coating. You get that galling worse when you're using a coating that has aluminum in the chemistry. Like most just basic coated end mills have, titanium aluminum nitride. And the aluminum, when it gets hot, will weld to the aluminum in the coating. So you run like these gold ones I was showing off at the last second. Those are zirconium nitride. They don't gall anywhere near as bad. And then the other thing too is you can, if you're not pushing your tool into the material enough, instead of cutting and curling a chip off the material, it'll just push off and rub. And that's when you get that galling really bad. The idea is you want all the heat to leave from the friction of the cut with the chip as it's kicked off. So that's very much with these little small machines, you're working with a narrow window that you can get a good amount of a cut without it rubbing too much and heating things up to where you get that welding.
Yeah, I found that out drilling aluminum.
Yep.
Welded it to my bit because I just kept pushing. It's like, oh no, don't go as fast as you can and keep
Mistake that I made way early on when I started playing around with machines. We're talking an old manual mill is not feeding stuff fast enough.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
I was always too timid to just crank into it, really push it, and I was all the time tearing up bits and breaking bits and stuff. And a friend of mine that worked in the machine shop come over there one day, and he's like, you need to speed things up." He said, "You're trying to go way too slow." He said, "Speed the head up, speed your feeds up." He said, "Really push into it." And he said, "You got to take big cuts because that metal that you cut carries that heat away with it when it flies out of there." And he said, taking the little tiny cuts, he said the heat's working into the part and you're not cutting the hot out. And the way he explained it finally made sense. I started cutting real fast and stopped tearing up as many parts. I won't say that I stopped tearing them up completely. I still broke more shit than I ever got right, but knock on wood with the Milo, I've had really good luck with it. Even using a single flute thread cutter and going down in and cutting threads into bores. This right here, that right there, that the head of that is clear back here. All right, it's the head of this is clear back here. That's threaded all the way down in there with a single flute cutter running down inside there cutting the threads. And I didn't break it off going that deep into that part.
Yeah, it's what are you using? Fusion?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice enough. Fusion supports thread milling. We do thread milling a lot when it's a material that is either when the threaded hole is tiny or when it's a tough material, because breaking a tap off on a brand new workpiece that you're working on sucks.
That's what you have the EDM machine for, is to go in there and take the tap out.
No, that's what you have a thread mill for. So you put something smaller than the hole inside the hole. So if it breaks, you just get tweezers. You don't want something bigger than the hole stuck in the hole. You want something smaller than the hole stuck.
We used to have an old man over in the manual shop next door that had an EDM machine over there, and when we'd break a tap off in a part, we'd just take it out of the machine and tote it over there to him, and he'd fire up his EDM and work his magic, and he'd have the tap out of there with the part.
Yeah, one of the companies I work for bought their first tap burner. It was just cheap, like $1,500 off of eBay or something. And we got it, and nobody had any hope for it. And I was reading through the directions, set it up on a part, and burned the tap out. And everybody's just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's a thing. Where has that been my whole life?" And everybody in the shop is just like, now they're mad that the shop supervisor's known about this for years and never bought one because we've scrapped out more than it's worth in parts with busted taps that just get screwed.
That's one of them things that they seem expensive, but
they're not.
It only takes a few times before they've paid for themselves. So
when you got 100 man hours in a part, a $1,500 tap burner is worth it to buy one every time you need one.
Yeah.
Let alone buying one once and then just being set.
Yeah, and man hours alone, it probably would have paid for itself fighting with getting that out of there.
Absolutely.
Well, it's getting late at night here where I'm at, and I got to start early in the morning. I just want to jump in and say hi to everybody, so I'm gonna.
It's been a while, so.
Yeah,
well,
I'm gonna bail out.
I'll probably see you at Earth if I can make it out. So.
I'll be at Murph, and like I say, from the sounds of it, now I'm going to Earth as well. So, which is Earth's going to be that's going to be one of them hit the ground running, because I literally get off the plane from the Philippines and going to have to do a load of laundry so I have clean clothes and hop in the car and drive straight through to Bel Air.
No trailer this year though. After last year,
I'm not bringing no freaking trailer. No.
I know what happened to that trailer last year. I know exactly what happened.
Yeah, the trailer.
Loading in and loading out. They need to organize that a lot better and give people who are trying to load in and out much better instructions on where they're supposed to go to get there. Yep. Hey, you can go back there now. Because first they're like, why'd you go this way? You're going the wrong way. And then the second time you try to go the way they told you to go to the start, like, why'd you go that way? That's the wrong way. I'm like,
the place is
they have one door to fill that place. It's like, come on.
Well, so on the trailer, Justin, after I got it back here, got it unloaded, took it over to the axle and frame shop, and he put it up on the frame, or the axle and frame, the frame machine, and he pulled everything back as straight as he could on it. And my mechanics in the shop went and replaced the rivets that popped out around the bottom.
Yeah.
And I put it on Facebook Marketplace for $1,500 less than I paid for it at the trailer repair place. And this nice Hispanic family that does home remodeling and woodworking and stuff like that. They couldn't drive over to the shop fast enough with cash in hand for their new trailer.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad it. I thought it was toast. I thought someone told me it was just done after.
Well, I mean, it was definitely the frame was bent, the tongue was bent, and the axle was bent.
Well, I think it got overloaded. It was Hector. Okay, so the trailer I bought was a lightweight trailer. Okay, it was a large cubic volume, but it was just a single axle, and the two toolboxes that I hauled around for Fabrico were the limit of the weight on the trailer. Yep.
So the two toolboxes in there, and then the printers and stuff that I put in the trailer didn't really add that much more weight. So it was comfortable within its weight limit with the two toolboxes and the rest of the crap that I'd bring to the show. Because like Big Tree Tech's case only weighs 350 pounds. All the flooring and shit for Fabrico's less than 100 pounds. So everything was fine. The show is over with in Bel Air.
Yep.
I'm already back at the motel. These guys are all badgering me, wanting me to come back to this damn
the barbecue place that we
barbecue joint to eat. Which the poor people at the barbecue joint, they had one person working, and then all of a sudden, all 40, 50 people show up. So they're calling
They've
people
been
in on their
amazing
night off.
3 years in a row, so they get taken well care of.
Oh yeah, they do. But anyway, so we walk in. Hector's like, "Oh man, you're here. You got your trailer?" Yeah. Oh, all right. Come on, we got to run back over to the venue.
Yeah, and this is partially my fault too.
Pio Poly, representing Soraya Tech, had all this material shipped to 3D Printopia to sell. And it didn't all sell, and they didn't know what they were going to do with it. So Hector bought it for a song and a dance. It was 2 pallets of filament. It was wound up being 65 cases.
Mm-hmm.
Each case is 10 kilograms, so that's 22 pounds. And I think they actually called them 25 pounds with the cardboard and everything else. So you're looking at 25 pounds per case times 65 cases. So 1,625 pounds of additional weight we put in the trailer. But because of the way I had the trailer loaded, it all got crammed into the front of the trailer. We opened the side door and we just kept stacking it in there. And all that weight on the trailer pushing down on it, it bent the hinge, but it caused the frame to bend just a tiny bit ahead of the axle and popped all the rivets on the bottom of the. You got to remember, this trailer was only 5 months old at this point. Well, no, it was more than that. How much time was there between Rocky Mountain and
That was 5 months.
5 or 6 months. Because I bought it right before Rocky Mountain and lettered it, brought it to Rocky Mountain, and then went to 3D Printopia with it, and then bent the hell out of it coming home with all that filament in there. And
They
I
were
got the
already
axle and wheel to straighten it up, and got my mechanics to reshoot the rivets in it because they had the right rivet tool to put those blind rivets in them along the bottom of it there, and it went on Facebook Marketplace, and I see it around town. They're very happy with it.
They were already basically giving that filament away at the show, so I can't imagine what Hector got it for.
And that's crazy because that filament was great.
It was really good. Yeah, I still have some. I don't
I
use
do too.
filament that often, but I got a spool of their nylon carbon fiber and 2 of their PET carbon fiber.
Oh.
Well, they're that PPA that they just sent me, and then I've got the PPA core. Where the hell did it go? It's in here someplace. I don't know where I put it at. But anyway, I've got the PPA. I've already done the tests on the PPA. That stuff is mind blowing. Here I'll bring the chart up. I can't remember the new website now where I had to store everything at because I used up all my credits on the last place. Too many people were clicking on the damn things.
I think Mark is going to be, so he's the only one I know of that I know who's going to be in Japan. So that'll be
What's going on in Japan?
The Japanese Rep Festival.
Oh,
yeah.
They announced it a little late.
Yeah, Jerf.
Yeah, Jerf. The name not gonna. Well, maybe it works in Japanese.
Yes.
Doesn't really work in English, but mostly. So Ian, AJ, and I are going. We'll have a booth there, but it was mostly like, hey, you guys want to go to Japan? And there's also a show there. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the turn. It's not going to be a huge show.
No, it won't be huge.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with it.
There's some interesting rules in their code of behavior.
Yes.
And some of them I'm like, it must be a machine translation error. Because I don't think they actually have death matches that you need to take outside.
I guess you'll find out.
If people put filament in their mouth, you are not supposed to stop them unless they're a child. Because some people taste filament. Any arguments over the best method of bed adhesion, and they listed 3 of them, none of which I would consider the best method of bed adhesion, should be settled by a print-off and not by fighting or yelling. And the management takes no position on what the best method of bed adhesion is. I was like, dude, apparently it gets feisty there.
Yeah. Well,
this is at the Japan Repra?
Yeah, this is the Japan Repra Festival.
Wow.
All right, here's the materials testing on the PET carbon fiber from both Soriatech and Polymaker, and then I threw the PPA and the PPSCF up there as well.
Ooh.
But this is the x-axis
yield. Nice.
Yeah.
But look at the difference between Polymaker and Soriatech. Polymaker is the top, Soriatech's the next one.
Yeah.
So that's the point at which it yielded. And then this is the distances where everything broke at. Layer adhesion. Look at this frickin' layer adhesion on the PPA.
Wow.
211 kilograms of layer adhesion on PPA. And that's 4 walls, 40% infill.
How many times did you repeat this test?
On the layer adhesion, I did a total of 15 samples.
God. I'm sitting here looking at these numbers. I'm like,
I didn't believe it, so I went and redid it, and I redid it again.
That's insane.
Layer adhesion on that. Now, the IZOD, or not the IZOD, but the heat set yields, well, look at the direct thread yields. Over 100 kilograms of force on a 3mm thread screwed directly into it before it gave way.
How did the 3mm bolt hold that much?
It does. Just on a direct pull on it, on a tensile pull, yes. If it was a shear load, hell no, it wouldn't hold that much. Shear load, it probably wouldn't hold 10 kilograms, maybe 20. But just pulling on it, it's fine. But that's the. But look at the PET carbon fiber though. The on all of these is the Soriatech over the Polymaker. You know the load 100 kilograms more on the Soriatech. Layer adhesion, damn near 30 kilograms more, damn near a third more layer adhesion.
That's insane.
Direct thread, we're talking almost double. Heat set.
Wow.
Now those came a little more comparable, but the one that just continues to blow me away is this layer adhesion on the PPA.
Yeah,
I mean that's just a absolutely unheard of number. And then somebody was asking if I tested the new stuff from Polymaker. Here it all is.
It was me.
Yeah, here's the tests on it. X-axis yield, that's just the straight pull on the solid part.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it actually does really well.
I mean, the yield is pretty strong. It's just brittle.
Yeah, that's when we get over to the Izod shock. That's where I smack it with the hammer.
Yep,
and that's. Now you want to compare it to like the PPA and PPS. So PPS, it's stronger than the PPS carbon fiber. It's right in line with the PPA, and then we'll just throw an ABS in here. Like there's an ABS 55. Wow. Okay. Now these numbers, I stress to everybody in the videos. These numbers on the Izod shock test are just a number. It's just a comparative number. It does not translate into any weight or measure of force or anything like that. My machine measures from 0 to 100. So if it's a dead stop when the hammer hits it, that would be 100. If it doesn't slow the hammer down at all, theoretically would be a 0 on my machine that swings a 0 at 17. So
that's right. That's the pendulum swing test.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all this is a comparative number, but when you start to put all these different things up here, like natural ASA, look at that, 67.8.
Wow.
That's with no coloring in it. So, but yeah, the heat treated PLAs, they did good. Let me get all the rest of this out of here so we're not cluttering it up with other stuff in there. But layer adhesion. The one thing that was funny on this is when it was annealed, the layer adhesion went down. So this is unannealed. This is annealed. Unannealed and annealed.
Another special guest. The man, the myth, and the best photographer of 3D printing events, Dave.
Hey,
buddy. How's it going?
And it's his first live too.
My first live.
Nice, welcome.
World premiere.
The man, the myth, the subject matter expert when it comes to events.
Yeah.
We are not properly sorted here, Justin. By the way.
Oh, what is it by beard?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. I
mean, he's hidden his, but I'm pretty sure Zach's first.
We're going by Zach.
Yeah, Zach's got it. Zach's got it dead.
Yeah. I think it's you that's right.
About this. Yeah.
It's you, me, and Jano are kind of a dead heat. Though
I got more handlebars than all of
my
you.
My beard's visible in certain angles and like hidden in others.
We'll do that.
I got more handlebars than all of you put together. So
more handlebars, yeah.
I did trim it at one point when it was down to here, and the wife made a comment that she missed my face, and I was trying to clean it up and ended up taking it all off, and I'm like, I look 12.
So I was going to show
none of us look 12 anymore, except maybe Big Jano.
Right.
No,
so
the gray, with the little hair I got is gray, yeah.
So like 4 or 5, 6 years down the line, That's going to be our new venue.
Ooh.
Oh, like they're
Massive.
That's what they're
They're-
building right now.
That's
Is that what
that's
they're
what they're
working
starting to begin the process of in October. The spot where the dragsters is going to get flattened out at a 2% grade, and then they've got to build other buildings and this, that, and the other. It's going to be 4 or 5 or some years. It's going to be 100,000 plus square feet with a hotel.
Ooh,
built
like all the
on.
damage we did, that's going to get erased anyway. That's
Yes. Yeah. Right.
We're just
So
helping
it's
the
going to be
process.
insane.
Well,
but
the current building is the one just right above that white
Yeah,
building, right?
Now they've added an not outbuilding. That's going to turn into a youth hockey center, and they're going to like blow it out and add another section. Which that building's I looked at it. It's I think it's good for that in the long. But yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane.
And they're going to have a hotel attached to that convention center.
But that's what the wings are.
What are they going to charge for parking?
Probably $10 or something stupid.
Yeah, like the Gaylord.
Yeah.
That hotel
Gaylord,
across the
you're gonna
street from the venue, man, they tried to do me dirty the one night I went to the bar.
Yep. Yep.
I
No, they
paid for
taught
parking
me.
on the app,
Yep.
and then they gave me a card on my card to pay again.
Yeah, it's dumb. I know. It's absolutely dumb. I'm trying to stop. They don't own their own thing. That's the problem.
Right. It's a separate company.
Yeah. But this is going to be absolutely nuts when it's done.
That'd be nice.
It'll also be
Yeah,
expensive.
that'd be wild.
They have a problem overall cost because I bet what we're paying triples to quadruples.
well, maybe that'll get the price of the other hotel in line.
Well, okay,
That was-
so it won't
the-
be in May. It won't be
the-
in May next year, so it'll be
Okay.
better. It'll be a lot better next year.
It's going to be hard to pry my people out of the house, though. They like to go back to the house and just chill. And
I can't blame them.
Well,
I'm looking forward to
right across the street
LobbyCon
was
actually happening
amazing.
next year.
yeah,
Right.
I mean, LobbyCon is really nice, but
Yes.
it's also nice to just go back to a house and
Yep.
just completely
That's why I
decompress.
live 15 minutes away, so I can go home.
We
and
were
sleep.
a good 35 minutes
Oh, yeah.
away,
Yeah, it'll be
um,
better.
but
We haven't signed the
Still not
contract,
too
but
bad.
it'll be a lot better next year. I'm trying
I just
to work
remember
with the
booking my
for a
hotel
block
in
rate.
like November of last
Mhm.
year for this year. So
Oh yeah.
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 I don't know if Esther will come again next year. She's definitely going to come to another show next year, but she's trying to
Right.
figure out which one she wants to go
Yeah.
to.
Well, it's a long trip from Australia. so-
Well, now she's considering Smurf.
yeah. That'll
So-
be
Hasn't
in
been-
March. March
Yeah,
7th
that's
and
March.
8th.
March next year.
Yep.
Which,
So
That's-
here's
that's what
here's
I
a
would like.
funny thing that's happened in my life since the show. So I had an extra X1 carbon. I don't print at home much anymore. It's mostly at the makerspace, and I had 2 X1s here. And Sarah, my girlfriend, was really super into the show. I think she surprised herself at how much she enjoyed it. And I was like, you know, I had my positron over there, but she's not quite good enough yet to be playing with that kind. So I'm like, I've got this spare X1. Why don't we take it over to your apartment? I set it up on her at her apartment. She didn't even have a computer. I had a spare laptop I gave her, and I've still got the machine registered on my phone. And when she gets home from work, my phone starts buzzing because she's using the hell out of that machine. All week, she's sending me pictures of stuff she's making on it. It's like, well, cool. I'm glad you're getting some use out of it.
Well,
That's
guys,
awesome.
I'm going to jump off here. It's
Yep.
thunder and lightning outside and getting ready to start raining. I got to get the dogs out before we get washed out. So,
right.
Yeah,
All right,
Do it.
Scott,
Thank you
well,
for
good to see
sharing
ya.
your strength tests and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, check out my channel. I keep testing stuff and adding to it every week. So, and we'll catch you guys. Like I say, I'll be at Murph and Earth, and I'll definitely be at Rocky Mountain next year. I'm not letting another year slip by. So,
No, we
Anyway,
missed you for
catch
sure.
you guys later. Peace out,
Yeah.
man.
see you, Scott.
Yeah.
Now we'll go back to the photos, and Dave
So-
will be honored by the piles of photos.
So many photos.
Oh my god!
Probably didn't take any photos at our booth. It was boring.
Yes, it was horribly boring.
Oh, there's
I
one right
did-
there.
Yeah. I saw.
Who's
I
the
was
gentleman
where?
I
who?
It was right at the
That was
top. My
my goal at
dad
the
and
outset.
scroll up
Oh
more.
yeah. Yeah.
Assembling right there.
Yep.
Ian and my dad
Yep.
working on the stained glass.
Oh, huge board.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Who's the gentleman in the blue shirt wearing the blue in the purple? Yeah, in the purple shirt with the blue headphones, right in the middle.
Oh, that's Caleb.
Oh, that's Caleb.
Caleb. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then
He was
our
attached
line,
to Sam this weekend.
the insane line out the door.
I
That's
spotted
crazy.
Jim.
That line was absolutely nuts.
Last year it wasn't like that, was it?
No, it was. It was
No.
pretty long, but it was longer.
It was
than
snowing last year.
It was
I
snowing
have
last year.
this photo. Hold on.
I
it was
got there
snowing.
late
I can't tell if
last
it's
year.
longer because to me that line
It
just
was.
goes out of sight.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
It was longer this year, but it was snow.
Yes.
It was pretty long for being snowing last year.
Mm-hmm.
I have the line picture from last year. So it was about, honestly, I think it was about half. No, it was longer. Hold on.
I got there late last year. I didn't do the volunteer thing.
Yeah, it was
last
a
year. I
little
got
bit
there late.
longer. I would say it probably went to like this pylon right here, this first
Oh,
pylon.
okay.
But this, I mean, it kept going.
That's still a great
going.
crowd.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to work on a way to get everyone in faster. Just it's so hard with the amount of people.
Well, it's only one set of doors, so.
Well, and the problem is we looked at moving it to the next set of doors, like the side doors, but everyone would still end up at the north hall doors because no one's going to walk all the way to the south hall doors. So it doesn't make any difference.
What crazy idea, and I know it's going to be work for you, and just a thought. Feel free to tell me all the reasons it's bad. But what if you allowed people to pay some basically mailing fee to mail them their badges when they order the tickets, and you could ship a whole bunch of badges out ahead of time, and then those people would have their badges and could just walk in.
The problem is we don't charge for tickets.
I know you're saying tickets are free. You can get them at the door, but if you want them shipped to you, it's this much for us to put them in an envelope and ship them to you.
No,
Why
because the
not
amount of
just open
attrition.
for the first 30 minutes or hour? Why not have entrance at the roll-up door?
Yeah.
Where we did the load in.
Yeah, then you've got confusion happening. People wondering.
The only other thing I can think of there is at the beginning you would have more people than at the table, and you'd have them walking out in the line.
And that's what we did. That's what we did. They started scanning 15 minutes before, but they still have to get in the physical door.
It's the funnel in through the door.
Funnel, and we had two lines. Like, we're working on a few things for it next year, but.
Imagine having a little stand out in the parking lot, so when the cars pull in, you can scan their tickets, give them their badge in the parking lot.
Back up the cars. That'll just back up the cars.
Yeah, no, it's the problem is if we do anything else inside, we're going to start losing booth space and maker tables. So,
pay for the express pass to get in.
Right.
Early bird VIP.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Pay for the mailing of the badges and just
the problem is the amount of attrition between signups and no shows.
Yeah.
We don't have, we don't have enough to do that.
Well, I think a lot of it too is people want to get there early.
Yes.
So they don't deal with the crowd. You get in before the crowd. You don't have to fight with the crowd as much. That's why I would go, or I usually go early, is so I can get in and see everything before everybody.
The panorama. Did you step back, Dave, on this photo and take just a wide photo and crop it down?
I shot like multiple shots and stitched them all together.
Okay. Nice.
Same thing with that line.
I missed how many racers there were this year. It looked like
55.
That's another thing. I gotta build a racer for.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, Lisa had Lisa's was most destroyed.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, hers took you'll see her battery hanging out of it in the picture.
Oh yeah. Well, and here's the thing I realized. Oh, and it's funny. My mailman's the guy at work is this guy.
Oh, that's
he literally showed up at the show, and I'm like, he's in a tree.
That's awesome.
But like, Dave's just so good. Dave, you're so good at finding the interaction. Like Joan's face here. Like she's so excited to share her stuff. Like. That's what you're just so good at grabbing, that's what I always want. Like I'll always walk up and just like
start with just whatever shot I can get,
Mhm.
and it's usually not very interesting. But if I have something, then I can kind of stand back and wait. And wait till like, okay, I'll look at the picture and think, okay, this would look better.
Reminding me of my defeat.
Yep.
Sign in the picture or people talking to each other.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, I recognize this guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I don't know what I was like. Is that the same shirt? No, that was
Like
my
this
Fabrico
photo.
shirt.
I sent this to Nero, and he's like, "That's a good photo."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, if Greg ever shows up without his mustache, we'll know something's gone real wrong.
Which this Greg?
Yes. If he ever shows up and his mustache is gone, or it's all like trimmed down, like real tight, we'll be like, okay, what's wrong? Like that'll be the sign that kidnappers have his wife or something.
Yeah, can we help you? Do you need a loan? Yeah.
Blink twice if you're in danger.
Yeah, right.
I did use the Dave. I did use the one picture that you took of me in my booth on my YouTube thumbnail. So
good.
Great shot. Oh, nice. Zach, look at Zach rubbing it in.
Oh yeah. Well, when they had the picture was so good of her handing the ticket, you can actually read the code off the ticket.
Yeah, I literally
didn't order.
Yeah,
I had Dave take that down. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
I saw that tonight. I'm like, Dave.
We were looking at him all on Liz's stream, and she.
No, Dano, this was on my fridge.
Oh, nice. The nozzle magnet.
Yeah, that's from. God,
that was probably from
ago.
Like Murph or Rocky Mountain from like a couple years ago. Yeah, I haven't made one of those in a minute.
21 or 22, probably.
Yeah.
The action shot, like look at how the death race looks great.
Well, look at the expression on that guy's face too.
Why are they taped together?
Because me and Rich decided to have. So he broke his front, end.
His steering was jacked up,
and then we launched it off a jump.
So Justin was steering, and Rich was powering.
Yep. No, I had no steering on the second.
Yeah,
run,
so he had those.
There's me and Sarah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, there's the second run. No one has any steering.
Yeah, that's pretty much just a dart. That's just a dart at that point.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I didn't realize this thing was there. I didn't realize that till the photos.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was
really cool.
Yeah, Denise said we're headed home, and I said, "Oh, good luck to you." I saw how Rich drove the dragster. I hope he does the car better.
Right, there's Denise and Rich and.
Yep. Speak of the devil.
Taco and.
Yeah, Taco.
Taco Supreme. Yeah, just.
No, that was a cool moment.
Yeah, just so much like. You're
the LDO.
If we want to worry about taxes, Dave, we definitely owe you more.
I feel like I kind of punked you guys right there on that.
Right.
The banner heading over the whole set is from the quiz show thing.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I realized afterwards it's like all the organizers of Smurf.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, okay, so it's just one because Georgia and Tula kind of run it.
Yeah. Well, I thought the whole A3D crowd was kind of behind it.
Nope.
That's a show I want to try to get to at some point.
Yeah, it's in March next year.
Yeah.
That one's hard to get to.
That's going to be tough for me. I want to go, but that close in, it's just not feasible.
Do you have a date? Have you announced anything, or is
we can't announce officially until we sign the contract.
Yeah.
I can tell it.
I was just looking at the Sanjay Mortimer dates and wondering, do we have a conflict here?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Oh.
But I will send it to people that ask, but I can't let it be announced until we sign the contract. So
gotcha.
Unfortunately,
next spring's gonna be busy.
Be responsible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to. I mean, we're already gonna have issues with another event, but nothing major. Just
so Smurf is a little bit difficult for me because my older two kids are pretty competitive swimmers. They
Right.
won't be in the Olympics, but they'll be college competitive. Well, one of them might be if he just has a breakthrough, but they're in that upper echelon, and that is their championship weekend for short course season.
Yep.
And my daughter is a senior that year. Now my wife and kids are saying, no, you have to go, but I'm like, but that's I always go to that meet. I always see them swim there. It's a heats and finals meet. So I don't know. I'll have to see what I'm going to do. If not, I mean, at the very least, Ian will be there. I might pay airfare for Danny to go there if I can.
Is that for Smurf?
That's for Smurf. Yeah.
I mean, Smurf, moving it to March, that's a big move.
It's a big move, I think. But I mean, I think they're not wrong. Like, who wants to go to Manchester in February?
Right.
So
I mean, it's nice that it's moved away from like Christmas, like the first week of December.
I mean, had they done it in December, I was looking at going, but now with being in March, it's like that's
too tight.
So it was actually kind of nice to have it in December because at least for non-Brits, they do the Christmas markets all over the place. So it's a really different vibe there. And there's Christmas markets everywhere. And Manchester has one of the biggest ones. So we got to do a whole bunch of other stuff around there. That was pretty neat. But, but I get their point. And it did make it so like I couldn't go to Form Next. I was invited to go to Form Next. I'm like, I can't be gone the week before Thanksgiving, do Thanksgiving, and then the weekend after Thanksgiving, fly out to England. Like I can't do all those things together. So
I would love to go to Form Next. I mean, I've been invited, but it's right before Thanksgiving, and
I could do right before Thanksgiving if I'm not leaving right after Thanksgiving. I just can't do both.
Yeah, because it's 18th to 21st, but it's the middle of the week, so I have an issue then with time off.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I mean, my boss is kind of a jerk, but he lets me go.
Yes, he is.
He does tell me, you're not making any sales. I mean, you're not making enough sales to pay for the tickets, but no,
I got 2 tickets to VIP tickets for Form Next out of the quiz show prize.
Yep.
And I'm gonna try to talk to my employer and see if he wants to send me and one of our engineers.
Oh, that'd be good.
We we're in the aerospace industry. We make helicopter parts.
Yeah.
So it might be interesting. So that's what you just showed, Justin. That's something I'm working on.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Basically trying to get the lightest possible bass guitar I can build. So the center core section is wood, one piece.
Okay.
And then the wings are going to be 3D printed. And because it's headless, it's not going to have balance issues.
You gonna put HueForge on the side so that it's real light but has a pattern or a texture?
You should.
Oh, yeah.
I could.
You should.
Just skin over the top.
Yeah, just skin it.
Yeah.
Also, I that was the next problem is this thing is pretty big. Let me see. So from.
Well, I'm gonna call it a night, guys. It was good to see all of you and chat with all of you, and until the next one.
Yep, we'll definitely have you back.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Good to see
Thank you
guys.
for helping at Rocky Mountain.
Oh yeah, we're the wife and I are going to volunteer again next year too. You had fun,
Okay.
so
awesome.
So, yeah,
fun working. Who would think that?
Hey, nobody ever said we were sane.
Right.
So, all right, guys, take it easy.
See ya.
Bye.
Like
It's amazing
just
how much
that
fun you can have working when it's not your job.
Right.
So yeah, this part is almost 500 millimeters wide.
Jeez. Well, that's why you're getting that printer that we were talking about.
Yeah. So I sold some of my older machines and made a good chunk of change, and I bought a Physec Venture XL, which is a Voron 2.4 base machine that is 600 cube.
Oh man.
Dang.
Yeah, I got the tracking
Big
for it today.
U-forges.
3 tracking numbers.
Oh. Well,
One
you got to do
60
some
pound
large
package.
U-forges for that. Big U-forges.
So it's one 60-pound package and two 48-pound packages.
That's the
and I messaged Hector, and he seems interested in helping financially support me building this thing with a tool changer with some stupid number of tool heads on it.
Index or like stealth tap or tap changers.
Yeah, stealth changer.
Okay.
What's that?
I was gonna say, imagine how many of those new Bondtech
index
changers you could add to that.
Honestly, if those were available, that's the route I would go, because $30 a tool head makes sense, and I could put like 15 of those suckers on this. I think they said the frame size is 910 by 910 by 910.
Wow!
So there's a ton of extra room around the build plate on this thing.
I bet you could fit 20 on that.
Easy. Yeah. I mean, I could probably set up a double-decker stealth changer on this thing. I probably would have enough room. The cable routing and the filament routing would be the nightmare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That would be awful.
But I want to have at least 10 tools on this thing.
10 color U-Forges, 10-bit color.
I mean,
are you gonna have it done by 3D Earthtopia? You got to print a few U-Forges.
I mean, I might have it done by then.
Ian had that 480 by 480 there from the VCore 4500.
Yeah, Jesus.
And I've been printing 350s, and I call them huge forges. And
I'm on the XL, right?
The 480 and the K2. But I mean, those are 340.
Now, if only the Bondtech Index was out, you could fit like 20 or 32 tool heads on there. 32-bit color on U-Forges.
Well, still, remember, it's by layer, so
I know
it's intentionally by layer. So
yes, it'd be nuts though.
Yeah, if Index was available now, I would be buying Index.
Oh,
no
I'd
doubt.
be doing Index on this thing if I could. Big 2.4.
When Index comes out, it's gonna like.
It'll be the end of the year though.
Yeah,
that's what Martin was saying in the Bondtech Discord. It's probably gonna be the end of the year. Be nice to have them at Rocky Mountain.
I mean, the fact that you only have to buy one tool head, and then
it's 35,
tools
50
are only
bucks.
$30 a piece. It's just like
probably by the time you
more
get
than
here, it'd
that.
probably be 35 or 50, but still.
If I went the cheapest possible route, I'm going to be paying that.
Oh yeah,
easy on just the hot end on each tool.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
Yeah. No,
and then you still got to do extruders.
I do wonder. I guess if you're only heating up one at a time because they're inductive, so they heat up really fast. The power draw is even not that bad. You don't have to worry about keeping them hot. So that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, with a tap changer, you're not, or a stealth changer, you're not actually keeping all of them hot.
No.
Yeah, right. I assume it's heating up the one that's about to be picked up, and then it.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. The smart way to do it would be to have the next tool preheated to like 150.
Right.
And then when it's time to change, you immediately turn it back on.
So the XL keeps them at 70, and then we'll bump the next tool up a little bit before the change, and then it'll push it up right before it changes. So I think it bumps up to 140 or 150, and then right when you want to change, it brings it all the way.
Or 170, I think.
170 is like their default temp for a lot of stuff.
And then does the XL have a nozzle part? Does the nozzle touch something?
For what do you mean?
Like to prevent oozing?
Yes. There's a little pad.
Yeah.
It's a pad. Yeah.
I know that's the way the stealth changer's designed. I didn't know if that was the way the.
Right.
Yeah, there's a pad. Though it does sometimes drag a strand. Like when I start a print, I always have to watch because it'll often drag a strand across the bed. when it's done its purge, and then it'll be like, "Whoop," and one of the colors will inevitably leave something across the bed that you have to pull off before it starts. I've actually been having trouble. My third tool is its Z offset was wrong, and and totally, I may have dropped a spool of filament or hit it. Like, it's probably my fault, but there was no easy way to say just recalibrate that one tool. Like, this tool's wrong. Let me recalibrate just that tool. I can't do it. I have to recalibrate all of them. Now, it makes sense that I have to recalibrate the first one because the first one is
you should be able to now.
I can.
Yeah,
well,
I
have.
I think you can go in now on the. Yeah, so the newest firmware, I think you can go into the tool itself, and it'll calibrate. I just run them all. When I change any of the nozzles, I just run them all. It's for 15
So what I do know is I can go in and manually adjust the Z offset, but when I went to go try to do a recalibration, it wants to do all my tools every time. But I haven't updated firmware in a little while. So
yeah, definitely update. They've done some changes.
So, but
core
one definitely needs to be done first because that's your truth. That's your basis. So that makes sense to do one and then do three if that's what I need. But I was having the filament, because I'm printing at such low layer heights, it doesn't do what you would do in other cases. It smears across the print and then bulges up at the perimeters. Yeah. And so I thought it was the filament at first, and then I was like, wait a minute. It's only on this tool that is doing it.
Yeah, I was having that issue too. Like the big 15-foot snake I did, one of them is just a little off. And so what I'll normally do if I'm doing something like multiple head print, if it's something longer than a couple hours, I'll put the pin in, run the tool offset calibration.
Well, mine keeps telling me that they're not round, and I keep having to try to clean them up better.
Update your firmware and go from there.
Okay. So, and again, for me, I'm running 0.05 millimeter layers.
Yes.
So it makes a huge difference.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Hey guys, I'm gonna hop off. It's getting late for me, so I'm gonna head out.
All right, dude. Thanks for hanging.
All right.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you all again.
Glad to have you.
Hopefully see you all soon. Not sure. Murph, not sure if I'm gonna be there or not. I'm still undecided. Gonna try to do 3D Printopia, so if not Murph there, and then possibly Open Sauce as well. But
Open Sauce is hard for me this year, so
I applied. We'll see about. I don't know about Open Sauce. We'll see. I haven't heard back yet if I got in or not, but we'll find out soon enough. But
I'd go if I was getting at least something paid for at this point, because I went last year and it cost me a flight, and that was it. So
yeah, if I get into Open Sauce, I might try to reach out to some people, but other than that, it should be at like 3D Printopia later this year. So
that's closer for you. So.
Yeah, that's a much easier drive. It's
how far of a drive is it for you?
About 4.5 hours. It's not too bad.
It's about 2 for me. Hour and 45. Well,
it's DC 26 hours for me.
Murph's about DC 5 hours of driving, so it's not.
Wait,
Steve,
Murph,
where are you located?
Sorry, I'm near Earth.
Okay, yeah,
I'm in Manassas.
Oh, you're in Manassas. I'm in Hampton.
Oh, okay.
Germantown, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you're what, like 2.5, 3 hours southeast of me.
Yeah. So I'm like, if it's a zombie apocalypse, I can get to Earth in 2.5 hours, but it's usually closer to 4.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
I'm in Western PA outside Pittsburgh, so it's about 4.5 at the turnpike. So not too
that
bad.
is the word on the street.
I've been saying that they need to have it here in Hampton. We have the best setup ever for a big convention like this. We've got a massive event center that is owned by the city, so they don't gouge.
Yeah.
We have 2 airports within an hour of the event center, and then a third airport that's about an hour and a half.
Well, I think they've outgrown their space.
Yeah, they've definitely outgrown the space.
Yeah, so the Hampton Convention Center is like twice the size of the ranch.
I would just say that I think that the Hampton's going to be a hard sell with the current crew since they're
because nobody's here. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they got to do something at least somewhat in the vicinity of Printed Solid.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, who runs IRF, I think, lives very close to its current venue, so it's going to be
he's
tough for him to give that.
Well, and with Printed Solid moving to their new location.
Yeah.
I was just making the argument that my hometown, where I'm at, it has probably the best setup I've seen for a large event.
And you wonder why I put an event on 15 minutes away from home.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean,
what are you going to do when you outgrow it?
And Hampton would be much more affordable than anything in the DMV.
Yes. Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Hampton would be good.
Well, we'll find out in a few months.
It would be slightly further away from me, and the tunnel traffic can make it awful. Yeah. But
no, you don't go through the tunnel to get to Hampton.
Oh, it's right on the other side, isn't it?
I'm on the peninsula.
Okay. I used to go down to Chesapeake fairly often, and I always had to go down 664 through that tunnel.
Yeah, that tunnel's not the bad one. The bad one is 64.
I have been stopped for burning cars in that tunnel twice, and I've never been stopped.
That's all 4 or 5 tunnels, or however many. I think it's 4 tunnels. Yes. All 4 of them we have are subject to that.
Yeah.
But the one on 64 currently is getting doubled in size in number of lanes, and it is a construction nightmare right now.
Oh yeah, that's what we have in Colorado. You guys
for the mountains though, these are under the water.
This is true.
Yeah, that was a trip. So we went from Denver at 5,500 feet above sea level when we got on the plane, and then we landed at sea level in Norfolk and proceeded to go below sea level into the tunnel to get home.
Yeah.
I used to have a family in Norfolk. I've been through those tunnels. They're interesting to say the least.
Yeah, we're like a year and a half away from the supposed completion date of the expansion project. We're going to go from 2 lanes either side, so 4 lanes total through 2 tunnels, to double that. We'll have 4 tunnels and 2 lanes in each.
I mean, they need that. It's needed, but it's a nightmare.
I'll put it this way. I've lived here for like 5 going on 6 years. Norfolk is 15 miles driving from me.
Yeah.
I hardly go there because it could be 20 minutes. It could be 2 hours.
Yep.
It's like in a different state, and it is right there next to me.
It's crazy. But I agree with you that would be a good venue. I just don't see. I will say the airport there isn't huge, so you're gonna have a little bit more trouble than getting into national IAD or BWI. But
no, well, I mean, so Norfolk, like we did a direct flight on Southwest to Denver and back from Norfolk.
Yeah, Norfolk
International Airport.
It's good size. It's just not huge. It's not as big as the ones in the DC area, but of course, there's less people going in and out of there every day. Though the Navy, so. Yeah, no, it's not tiny. It's not like a regional, but it's
So like we've got Norfolk, and then we've got what is it called? Williamsburg Newport News, which is a little bigger than a regional. You can get flights in and out of there. I would put it on par with Fort Collins' airport. And then you've got Richmond, and like the drive from Denver to Loveland is equivalent to Richmond to Hampton.
Yeah, that's true. That's true for sure.
So that's the thing is like you could fly into Richmond or Norfolk to come to Hampton.
True.
Yeah. Though Richmond, we might be able to get a spot in Richmond too. Though there's so many terrible neighborhoods in Richmond that you never know where you're going to end up. But I bet you could get a fairly inexpensive spot in Richmond too.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
But nothing in the Northern Virginia area. So
no.
Nothing.
All right, guys. I'm going to head out.
All right. Good to see you, Jenna.
Good night.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. Let's undo this thing. Oh, yeah. We'll see.
But yeah. Yeah, so I'll be at 3D Printopia. Adam has a table at Open Source, and he'll be showing off QForge and probably more of his tiles and stuff like that there. But that's just too much to try to do all that stuff.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Well,
they've moved event venues each year, so.
Have they? Okay.
Yeah, so first year was on a pier. Last year was the Cow Palace, which was
right.
I was there. It was you had the main hall and you had 3 aux halls, and you had to walk down a big thing. It was a mess. I got food poisoning from one of the food trucks, and now it's in San Mateo County Event Center, which is just the opposite way from the Cow Palace. So,
yeah.
I would go again if I was invited and paid for. If Positron has a booth.
Is that where Maker Faire used to be?
Don't know.
The Bay Area Maker Faire.
Barf.
Somewhere around there.
Right. So here's I'm going to put this link in chat. This is the Remurf 2025 playlist that I've been building as the videos have been coming out. Right now we have 82 separate videos, which is awesome.
Cool.
And as
speaking of videos, can we rip the QForge talk?
Yep, I have it. I just need to fix some audio, and then I can pull it. It's literally sitting like here. I'll show you. I got to get to it. I may have to actually send it off to be done a little, but no, I have it.
Okay.
It's where is it here?
Oh, hey Justin. By the way, the suggestion to contact Georgia was the right one.
Yes. But yeah, there's the talk right there. So I've got it all. It looks and sounds great. I don't know if the audio is coming through, but yeah. So
but yeah, I didn't hear back from her, but I heard back from Precinct.
Yeah. But yeah, you can see the audio's a bit messy. Yours is actually probably the best, so I may just pull that tonight or tomorrow and push it. But like Cheesy Chains has an issue because he was so far from the mic. Like his peaks are insane. So yeah, no, I've got them all. They're all going to get ripped and posted. So
and you don't mind if we pull it and post it on our channel? I
mean, if you give me a Google Drive link, I can just upload it to you as well once I'm done. Okay. That way you have the raw instead of the upload, the download.
Instead of upload, download. Yeah.
I mean, if you're comfortable fitting, running your own fixes on audio, I can. It's already cut. I can just send it.
Danny will do it. Danny said he's the one who really wanted to do this, and he's like, I'll take care of whatever that we need to do to make it work. So.
Well then, yeah. I mean, I'll upload it how I do it. Let me see if I can pull the clip. Sorry, I'm not the best with this. So, okay. So I just want to render this clip. Okay.
Just DM me the email you want me to add to you on this Google Drive, and I'll give you a folder access.
It's just our Rocky Mountain email.
So RRF at.
No, here I'll just send it to you. Hold on.
Sorry, I don't know just your Rocky Mountain email. You do. It's obvious to you because you use it all the time.
Yeah, here. Just add that. I'm going to rip it.
I mean, I understand that because I have that issue. I'm like, why don't you know this?
You're supposed to know everything. Let me pull it. Folder. You want it for YouTube, right?
Yep.
Because I'm just going to.
Editor to the folder.
Because I was just gonna export it for YouTube.
I mean, if you give me the raw, then I'll have Danny do whatever he does to it for YouTube. He'll probably take a quick pass.
I've got to figure out how to pull that because it's 80 gigs otherwise, and I am not uploading. I can do. Let me see. Hold on. Sorry, I'm not. I can do the H.264 master file. Would that be okay?
Probably, yeah.
I'm just going to do...
How good's your internet up there in Northern Virginia?
The internet?
Yeah.
We get good internet. I also have data centers right behind my house. So
there you go.
Northern Virginia
they
is the
were woods and a farm when I moved in.
Right.
I now have like 5 Amazon data centers right behind my house.
Yeah, the Northern Virginia is the internet. That's why I made the comment.
We may be the internet, but we also have people who know how to waste everything. So
once let me know if it doesn't work, but I only have 40-50 meg up.
Okay.
So it's gonna take all night once it's ready.
Yeah, I've got Verizon Fios here. It's,
yeah, I got gig up. I got gig, but it doesn't really give me gig up.
To, but my apartment complex won't build it out. So it won't cost them anything, but they have a marketing agreement with Crapcast. So they do it. It's dumb. I'm like, guys, I will pay for my build out. Just give me fiber. Like I've got 1.2 down. It's the up. It's just
well, mine's flaky in terms of how much I actually have up and down, but we normally get 600 or 700 down, and then up is all over the place. So.
Yeah, my down and up's pretty consistent around 8 or 9.
The only issue with the video is when people walked in front of the camera, it would focus on their heads.
That's not a big deal. The idea is just to get the content out there.
Yeah. No, you're good. I was gonna get it up this weekend.
So, Dave, how many photos did you take this show?
Take 2,400.
And how many did you
That's
upload?
pretty low. I'm surprised.
I try to limit it because I know I have to look at them all later, so I try to make them count. But I ended up posting just under 700, I think.
Jeez.
So and
damn.
Like part of me wants to cut that down by half, 300, because
what you've done is perfect.
It's like anybody who wants to sit down and just go through them all, it's impossible. You could just go clicking them through them one in a second, and it would take more than 10 minutes.
Well, the benefit of the way you have it is they could scroll through. Oh, I like this. Click on what they like.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to look at something, they don't. I wouldn't go any further.
Yeah. Ultimately, there were I was like, I don't want to cut anymore because I want any vendor that was there and didn't get pictures of their own booth has at least 2 or 3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to.
Is the link to that album in the chat?
I will be.
I talked to. I can't post in the chat. I don't.
No, you're good.
I didn't sign up for a StreamYard account.
I just sent it to you.
So I can't link it.
I will post it again, but I just sent it to you.
But there you go.
You need to post it on socials.
Thank you.
But yeah, I was going through trying to get every exhibitor, every booth, and
that's hard.
For most of them, I stopped and talked for a second and asked if there was anything special that they were trying to present or highlight or something, and trying to get pictures of what was important for them. So and it got a little rushed towards the end of the weekend. I was down in the last couple rows, and I'm like, I just gotta fly through these things and go snap.
I mean, I tried really hard this year to visit every booth. It's so difficult for me. Well, I meant to keep a map in my pocket and check them off as I go.
Well, I was doing them in a certain order. I'm like, okay, I finished this aisle, I finished that aisle, and but then my walk kept getting interrupted. I got to go shoot the cars, the drag racers. Every hour there's a presentation going on, and I missed a couple of those. There was a couple I didn't get any shots of, but we missed the robot stuff. What was that called?
Jeff?
No, not Jeff. The
bot rumble.
Yeah, the bot rumble stuff.
Oh,
I missed
the stuff.
I missed getting any pictures of that last year.
You got a little, this year you did better.
This year I was like, I got to make sure I do it. I didn't get any pictures of it Saturday. And then while I was, in my hotel Saturday night and Sunday, I was like, I know why I missed them, because they're battling their robots and beating them all up. By Sunday, there's none left. I may have missed it again.
No, you didn't.
So I kept going by there and catching different meets, but
yeah, that was cool. We do have to move them to a different spot. We got a complaint from the venue about that. So
oh yeah,
I think there's a good spot if we do something kind of over by where 3D Fuel was. that may be
could be
a good call.
They were they were drawing quite a crowd. Like people were coming and watching it, and they were blocking the whole aisle through there.
Oh yeah, that's a challenge for us, but we may have to lose a sponsor booth to do it. So
yeah,
it is what it is, but
yeah,
it's a big attraction.
It is, yeah.
Next year outside we're going to have bleachers for dragsters and death racers, because I couldn't watch the bleachers on Saturday.
The bleachers would be great,
The death racers on Saturday, I couldn't even see them. Like I rolled out just
I showed up late and the crowd's all there, and I'm like, let me through, and I stood in the middle of the circle.
Yep.
And got a few of the shots, and then I'm like, okay, I got to buzz.
Your feet are getting ran over.
Well, there was a pickup truck parked right there on the edge, and a couple
the
people
one they've had every
it,
year.
And I'm like, okay, I'm climbing up in the bed of this pickup truck. Yep. It's amazing what you can get away with, and you got a big.
You could have done the
you got a big camera.
Yeah,
he's got a big like.
You could have done this. As it was going on, a couple of the people got out of the pickup, and then eventually someone came over and said there was me and one other person left in there, and the other person was wearing one of the staff shirts too. And so this woman came over and she said, okay, I'm going to let you two stay in the pickup, but don't let anyone else get in here. And I'm like, oh, Is it your truck? And she's like, yeah, it's the ranch's truck. So
yeah. But no, this was a fun picture to see. My mailman and someone else just in the tree.
People,
and this is why
in the trees, Oh, and I'm just noticing down there you got Gabe, Lucky 13. When I took that shot, I did not know who he was. He doesn't really post himself on social media as much.
Right.
So everybody knows the Lucky 13 guy, and you might know his name is Gabe, I guess. But I didn't know who he was until he walked up and met Joel, and I happened to be standing there. I feel really lucky that I saw that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we had 55 of these. Next year, we're gonna have more. It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
You need to do heats.
I leave it all in Polymaker's hands. I don't want to be managing that. That is completely up to them.
That's the fun part, though, right? Is the chaos. I say this as someone who never gets out to see the death racers. So.
Yeah, but, I mean, I would have if I had fixed mine, but next year I'm going to do a mechanism, but I've got time, time and printers,
I have to say there are discussions in our group whether we're going to put quite as much effort into our booth as we did this year.
You guys did a hell of a booth.
It was a lot.
It was, yes.
It was a lot. And so it's not that it was almost kind of like we felt like it's like an every other year thing.
Yeah.
We actually had a joke that we'll take the picture of us in front of the booth and put that, get canvases printed and put that on the wall of the booth.
Yeah.
So you can oh my gosh, my camera just zoomed in on me. Not me in my head
sucked in.
But yeah, so basically we could just, people.
I mean, it's your booth. You do what you want with it.
Yeah. I think the horseshoe works better though.
Yes.
Than having it set out.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Well, it'll be nice when we eventually get the new venue. We're gonna have some different things that I'm dreaming of, options for like 20-foot deep booths where you're required that half the booth has to be enterable.
Oh yeah.
Like polling people. If you want to do the full 20, that's fine, but at least 50% of the booth must be enterable from the aisles to pull people out of the aisle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it works better too. It's better flow in the booth too. It's much easier to fit people and to talk to multiple people, and you're not yelling across the table with them. It works better in general.
We'll see what happens, because my biggest concern with the new venue is going to be overall cost.
Yeah.
I bet it's for at least 3 to 4 times what we're paying, which.
So, I mean, from our perspective as a sponsor, your booths are dirt cheap. So if you have to double the booth cost, I don't care.
It's not about for that. Yes, they are going to go up a smidge for next year, but because of the better dates, I was going to do it this year if we were on the April dates.
Okay, but
I was like that. They're already spending insane money to stay out here. There's no way I can sleep at night if I'm going to do that. But it's not going to go up nuts. I know what Earth charges, And it's not. I'm hesitant to go that big yet.
I mean, so like if you don't need to, don't, right? Like don't raise prices rates just to raise rates. But honestly, if you were to say, hey, by some of your booth fees, we're allowing people, sponsoring people to come.
Yeah, I mean, we do that. We do. You know, we sponsored in Grant. We sponsored in Allen. Like we're trying to bring that. But you know, I was talking with Dan at West 3D on Sunday night, and he's like, "We'd pay $5K." I'm like, I'd rather you pay what you're paying now and fly someone in who could not otherwise come. That's more valuable to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I would rather see people that can't get there, like Maker My Nexus or 3D Dan that just couldn't go financially. Well, I'd rather see the $600, $800 to get them in used for that than us doing it. Because then, one, it takes the stress off us. Two, it's supported by a company. So there's all these things.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I appreciate that it's inexpensive because I got to fly, I fly people out there and get a house and all that kind of stuff. But
like West 3D, it costs them $25,000 by the time they're said and done to be out there.
Now, I did not pay that much, but because they bring a lot of people and all their shipping and all the
he's got driving. It's it's not that much, but then you have your Airbnb.
Yeah, right. So my Airbnb basically costs twice my booth. Yeah. So if my booth costs the same as my Airbnb, it really wouldn't bother me that much. By the time you were
said and done, you probably spent $10K easy. By a car and food and.
I was probably at 6 to 8.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, based on what you told me, your booth cost and then the Airbnb, you were at 8,000 right there, basically.
No, my booth was.
Sorry. No, I thought you were a platinum. My brain.
No, I was a gold, just a double booth. So my booth was significantly cheaper than that.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If my booth doubled in cost, it would not upset me.
No. We'll see what happens. I'm trying to reserve that till the big venue because the problem is that's going to be expensive. But we might also get 10,000 people. But then the other issue is if we go to the big venue in 5-6 years, it's going to be a 3-day event to bring that many people through. We're just going to have to shorten the hours. But the other benefit is if we do it on a weekday, educational day.
Yeah.
What the problem is, and I've talked to a lot of people, if we do that, you do it on a Friday and you literally tell the people showing, bring stuff you don't want broken. Because kids are going to break stuff, steal stuff.
We had our first things walk from the booth. I've never had anything walk from the booth, and we had 3 things walk this time.
Oh. Yeah. Which is nuts.
Only one was
at least your product is software and not hardware.
Well, one of the things that walked was a piece of hardware. It was a TD1S prototype.
Yep.
Oh.
That should have been locked in a box almost.
Well, so we were really worried about that the first couple of shows, and none of them ever walked. We had them all over the table, and they never walked.
The volume of people,
yeah.
And then we saw an opportunity.
A TPU Spaceman and a bookmark, someone's bookmark. Actually, Leland's bookmark, who was working volunteer, walked. Yeah. So unfortunately, I mean, it's easy enough to replace the prints.
But the TD1S prototype?
The only functional one that AJ had at the time.
Yeah, which pisses me off because it's like, and it happens. It's part of it,
Mm-hmm.
But like,
we should have had that one added end cap that we were always keeping an eye on, and it was over in a corner.
Or in a box, like a secure box type. Like one of those cases, like the.
Yeah. Well, that would have taken too much room on our table, man.
Well, better than it getting stolen.
Giant TD1.
We'll get a tether for it next time.
Yes.
Like a gas station key or something.
Yeah, exactly. A giant, dangling wooden board
chain from it. Hall pass,
exactly. We had giant wooden hall passes. They were like 12 by 12 rounded corners, a hole in them, and they had said hall pass on them.
Yeah, when I mentor at the robotics students at the high school, I see the room's got one of those still.
Mm-hmm. that sucks, but I don't know. We may end up doing it on like, if we do it, it might make more sense to do Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then have Education Day be on Monday. Because then your booth's already destroyed.
I was going to say, we're already wrecked, barely functional, and we're like, oh, kids, hi, welcome.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends, because, I mean, next year we're going to shorten Saturday by 1 hour at the end, 9 to 5. Because 5 to 6, we had no one show up.
Yeah, it wasn't super busy, yeah.
No, and so everyone's like, do 10 to 5, 10 to 4. I'm like, we have double the people and double the space. We can't do that.
Well, you could. I mean, the other thing you can do is say you can stay in, but no one else new is coming in at a certain time as well.
I mean, but the problem is then you have the after party with alcohol thing, and you do have to kick out the general public.
Well, I'm not saying you don't kick people out, but you could say at 4, no more new entries at 4, but you can stay in if you're in, until whatever the kick out.
I don't think
that makes more complicated. I know.
Try not to get to the point where this is a complete full-time job yet.
I have to say, like, I personally feel that the after party in the venue, I don't feel like I can take a break, because people come over and like start talking to me about UForge, and like, they got
fully agree.
Over to our booth.
I fully agree. The problem is no one wants to spend $12,000 to $15,000 to do it like Earth.
Right, somewhere else.
And we're not. If we charged entry, we could. If we charge $10 a ticket, sure, I could have $50,000 to run one hell of an after party. But that's not the goal. Earth only does it because they have to.
Right.
Earth only does it because Joseph pays for it.
No, not anymore. The last 2 years, Earth has been self-sponsored.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought the year they announced 3D Printopia, Polymaker at least paid for sodas, apparently.
Yeah, they paid for something, but it's hard because we have so many people, and then to like go to the embassy and rent out their ballroom.
Oh yeah, you can never do that.
$20,000 easy by the time we're said and done. No one's going to spend $20,000.
The embassy ballroom would not be.
Well,
viable.
There's nowhere else to do it.
Yeah, there's no Ripken Park that you can go to. That's
Well, okay, there is, but it's 20 minutes away.
Well, Ripken Park's a good 10, 15 minutes away.
Yeah, but it's by the hotel.
Yeah, that's the trick.
It's
going towards a hotel.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5 seconds from my hotel.
Not necessarily. Like at the 3D Printopia, people are in hotels like scattered all over the place. Like even 2 different towns are feeding hotels to that thing.
Yeah, it's a mess. I
don't think
you're talking like
20 minutes away would be a problem for Rocky Mountain.
I don't think 20 minutes away would be a deterrent, really, because a lot of people want to go back to the hotel, get cleaned up, and then go to the after party, and they don't really care if the after party is 20 minutes away.
There's some other options were entertaining, but again, you're still talking $12,000 because you got the venue, you got the food, like it's no one. We haven't had we had Cap Emotion, the guy with the high temp printer next to the robot arm, sponsor the food trucks existing at the thing.
Okay.
But that's it. No one else has any interest.
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit too big.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't blame you. I don't blame anyone. I mean, if we were charging, sure.
Well, again, if you charge $200 more per sponsor, right?
It wouldn't add up that quick, but I did the math. The math on our increase, and we make another $6,000.
Yeah.
And the problem is the venue costs also go up every year too. So we're losing that in the aggregate.
Yeah. I don't run a show. I've never run a show. I've never wanted to run a show.
And we may have enough left over for next year for it, but we do it 1 year, we have to do it again. And there's our problem.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. Because I mean, honestly, sponsoring the after party is kind of thankless because it's not like the badges where your name's all over it or the lanyards. It's like, oh, they sponsored the after party. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
I will say that the Smurf after party was a disaster.
I heard that.
No.
So they rented out this pub. And actually, it's in England, so the companies are okay to pay for drinks in England. So the drinks were sponsored for the first couple hours. but the food, it sounds like they had ordered the food like correctly ahead of time and stuff, and the people who were bringing the food, which was pizzas, screwed up.
Yep.
And basically forgot about it or thought it was for a couple hours later or whatever. So we get to the pub, everyone's getting drinks. It's a pretty, it's an English pub, so it's not huge, and it's all the sponsors. And then there's no food. And food is coming at some nebulous point in the future. And so, and I'm zooming in again.
Dun, dun, dun.
And yeah, it was for dramatic effect. And so I had my wife and my 12-year-old at the time there, and I was like, "We need food. It's it's 6:00. We need food." And for us, it's we're still messed up time wise. So that's apparently that motion, the Zoidberg motion apparently makes me zoom in. Anyway, so we went and got the one-handed Zoidberg motion. We went and got Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
Came back, and everyone was blitzed, and pizzas were starting to arrive.
Yep.
So it was, and I got stuck between Bruno from Prusa and Sam Prentice.
Yep.
Barking at each other at the table. It was every time Bruno would start talking, Sam would go. Rah, 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 rah. It was quite the evening. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. So I maybe upstairs was better. I don't know. And then there was another guy that came through who, there were several people that were quite poorly off.
Yeah.
And at that point, I didn't realize it, but they'd stopped paying for drinks, which was fine with me. When I went to the bar and I ordered my drink, and they're like, "That'll be whatever." I was like, "Okay, fine. Here's my card. No worries." But I'm like, "Thank goodness you cut them off at some point." But so yeah, it was a little rough just because the size of the venue and then the lack of food. But again, I don't think the lack of food was E3D's fault. I think they had ordered it and their vendor just didn't deliver.
Yeah. Hey, Zombie, what's going on? I did send you a link if you'd like to join. Hey, Liz. Links are available in your Discord if you'd like to join the chat. We've got our photographer down there somewhere. First live stream. He's a pro streamer now.
I know, my first stream. I think I was going head to head against Liz there. I'm sorry, Liz.
So I don't really know what motion I'm doing that's causing it. I just do it, and I never zoom out. It's only ever in, so you only ever get to go closer and closer to my face,
right?
Which no one wants to do. So,
Liz, thanks.
Yes, all good. We appreciate you guys jumping in. We were showing off some of Dave's incredible photos.
I wish I could participate in the chat, but this is my first time.
You should be able to. So you can do that on YouTube if you go to
YouTube.
Well, I've been trying. Okay, yeah, I finally just figured out how to get to the live chat on YouTube. That's why I keep looking down at my phone. But that's no fun on this stream.
Here's the live chat.
The
pop out live chat for you.
Well, I have this is the first time I'm using StreamYard, so I don't have an account, and so it won't let me link to my YouTube account. I tried it a couple times earlier, so I have to sign up here in order to link the accounts, and then someday in the future I'll have it all figured out.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that.
No
I do
beards
have a
for me.
account.
I had a mustache for a very dark year of my life, and never again.
Right. Yeah, I've had this for like 10 years. So
there's like one photograph floating around in this house somewhere with me and a mustache, and anytime people find it, they're like, "What?"
I don't let it go too long or hit my lip, so I'll never have the long beard.
My
like how we have Zach's
it got icy in the winter.
Zach's head down here.
I went skiing one time, and ice would freeze in my mustache. That's
there we go. Zach's. I should have renamed him to Zach's forehead.
Look at that. Having a beard can be like a competition, and I'm not going to win that. So
I'm never going to win it.
Having a beard is, for me, a laziness thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't do the long stuff around my lips. They drives me nuts.
My wife doesn't like me
Thanks.
clean shaven, but she wants me like, scruffy. But every once in a while, she'll be like, "You're getting to be mountain man." I'm like, I am so far from mountain man, but okay, time to trim.
Really
snip that. Oh wait,
look at that, the orange ticket.
I hope I didn't spoil somebody's orange ticket with that.
No, I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
It happens.
So if it hasn't been redeemed yet, that means I can still go get it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can't believe we want it.
I know, with 3 randos, That's
awesome. I guess the Adam was on the team that got second, I think.
That was
they really need some second place prizes or something.
A lot of good crowd reactions in that.
I should have put free tickets for the next Rocky Mountain.
That would have been good.
Just to screw with people. Free general admission tickets.
You could have done free maker tables.
That would have been good. I could have done that next year.
But I mean, I get your joke and it's funny.
Yeah.
But free maker tables could have happened.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, everyone who entered did get a school polymaker.
Right. Oh, good question, Ron. So I just got the kit build done this past Saturday. It was an upgrade from my MK4S to this. So
good. I was unclear on the prizes. Pez is just saying something about second place prizes. They had like 3 different prizes. Did those all go to the first place?
So the winners got an MK4S plus each.
Yeah.
2 VIP tickets to Form Next and an XRP DIY kit.
Okay. See that? Well, the XRP kit. That's what I was going to ask about. It's like, do folks really want those, or you need them?
Steve, I found your.
I can take one. If anybody's not using those XRP,
free TD1S prototype. Yeah. I mean, it would have made sense. Like the XRP kits could have gone to second place. That could have made total sense. It didn't all have to go to first place.
They've got to have second place options.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're runner up and you get, the same spool of filament everyone gets, which isn't that bad, but.
No, but I think it would. I don't know. Yeah. But no, Ron, the core one's pretty good. The kit build was fun. I enjoy building. Otherwise, I would have just bought a regular kit. So far, it's good. It's definitely louder at the start, but I like having an enclosed PLA printer. Every printer I have is enclosed, and I have no bed slinger. So,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Everyone thinks their prize is first place material.
Well, next year, Steve, you can put in some. You could do different license levels.
I mean, I can give UForge licenses out. I don't mind doing that. That's fine.
Well,
but
you gotta get with.
And I always tell you, if I give out free UForge licenses and you already own it, I'll give you the upgrade.
Yeah.
But
unless they're fully upgraded,
you can always do that retroactively.
This is true.
Retroactively for second place. Well, I happen to know at least one of them has lifetime.
Yeah, so. Lifetime with beta testing.
You can also spend $24 and get a $24 Polymaker coupon that you're going to buy filament with anyway.
They're still doing that?
Yeah, they still do that. And now we're doing it. Wait. We're still doing that. We're doing it in Europe, and they're about to do it in Japan.
They're nuts. They're absolutely
okay. So a little inside baseball, every company has $1 spent for customer capture.
Yes. Yeah.
And the HughForge purchase price is roughly their $1 spent per customer captured price.
Yeah.
So for them, it's a good advertising deal because the other nice thing for them is a lot of people don't renew it or don't pick it. So they're actually not spending that much per customer. They're spending a lot less per customer, but with the goodwill of the community that they're handing this out. So, so it's going through 3D Jake in Europe. Right. And I think, and I understand this, 3D Jake freaked the heck out when we ran through the first 1,000 coupons. And they're like, whoa, we've got, and like 70 people had actually used them. And so they're like, wait, we have like 930 coupons out that we could be shipping 930 coupons worth of filament out and then waiting for Polymaker to make us whole. And so I'm sure they were like, holy crap. But Polymaker has had conversations with them, and now because I was having problems where like there was that weekend where they didn't get back, and the polymaker's like, we need coupons, and they were not giving us coupons, and I was getting orders coming in. I went negative 300 coupons before we finally got coupons. So and trying to and then it turned out that resending those was not as easy as I thought. So I had to spent about a day getting those resent. But now they're like, okay, so Nick said we've had a conversation with them. We're sorted out. They're going to be giving us more coupons at a time, and we'll be making sure we stay on top of it. So, and I was like, Polymaker knows. I've given Polymaker some of my numbers. They know how many U.S. coupons we go through in a month. And I just messaged Joel, hey, we're down to this number, and he's like, no, you're not. you're at more than that. And then he's dropped some number of coupons in there, but it's just so anyway. Yeah. So now we're adding Japan, and then he wants to add all of Southeast Asia. They apparently think they can do that after they've added Japan. So
damn, and they've got suppliers out there for that too.
That's the thing. They basically So they have one in Japan. They have a reseller in Japan that they're going to do this through. But she is not super communicative. So Nick brought me in a chat with her, and I said hello, and she said we're working on getting a code, and I'm like, you mean codes, so that they're not shared, and then never heard back from her. So
jeez. Hey Jerry.
Hey Jerry. Someone came around with something and asked you.
Yeah, that was Zany Maker's app.
And I completely was like, no, I don't know who that is. And then like an hour later, I'm like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, that was totally blank. Let me find it.
I was like, I didn't recognize you in blue PLA or whatever that plastic was.
Right. Trying to find, here it is. It was this. I think it was this one. Share screen. Yeah, I think it was this stuff.
No, it wasn't that.
Oh,
not that.
I have no idea.
Wait, did Tisket make the Night Fury?
I don't know.
I mean, I see her right behind it.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know. The one
that's a pretty awesome Death Racer.
Yeah, that one was technically illegal because the head was too high, but
I can believe that. But it was very cool.
Oh yeah, it won technically. I didn't. Sam approved it. So
Sam approved all kinds of stuff.
This is true. Oh, it was on Dave and Terry's booth. No idea which booth theirs is. There's so many booths. Yep, there it is. Hold on, I found it. Oh yeah, the head. I signed it too. That head right there.
Yes, that head. Yes.
Yeah, I signed that.
Yep. They came all the way in from Baltimore to the.
And I literally, they're like, 3D HTTP, right? I'm like, what? No, and I was just like 3D HP. I'm like, maybe. I was just like, totally
right. They should have said if they had said Jerry, it probably would have helped.
Probably would have helped. But I was so brain fried that I did not sign it.
Right.
I apologize.
It's all good.
He had Hue Forges at his table too.
Yes. Yes, they did.
I'm looking through photos while I'm doing this.
Yeah, you're good. There's a lot of them, but that's why
there's a couple.
Dave out. Dave, I'm assuming 3D Printopia is doing the same thing for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
I'm assuming the same thing.
Yeah. Good.
My arrangement with them is a little bit different since that's my hometown.
Yes. Yeah,
I mean, I'm like 2 hours away from there. So
yeah, of course.
I started off with them as just a volunteer, like helping with registration and stuff.
Right.
And then on my second day, I just picked up my camera and started walking around.
Right.
So when the next year came around, they said, don't do registration, just take pictures the whole time, and we'll give you some money for it. Actually, they told me it was a rumor that they might give me some money for it, And I was like, well, I'm doing it regardless. So
Yeah.
And then
for
only
us,
at the end of the
costs-
show did he say, "Here, I got an envelope for you." So
Nice. Yeah,
but
for us, it's like we got to pay for you to get out here. So.
that's been really helpful. Like it's offsetting the cost of the hotel for 3D Printopia and the hotel and the flights to go out to Remurf.
Right. If we didn't have that pesky $600 tax law stuff, we could give you more. But realistically, if it, we've looked at giving people more, but they lose it in the taxes.
Oh, I didn't realize.
If we were to double what we gave you, you're going to lose that in your taxes every year.
Yeah, could be.
It's like, and that kind of sucks,
It's.
Yeah, he showed me that head, and I'm like, oh.
The thing though is, it's not really like what I'm going to net after taxes. No. It's what I can tell my wife that you're paying for.
Right. No, and I get you. So,
but
I think wouldn't it be, if it's mostly expenses, you could say,
yeah,
these are all expenses. So these weren't income.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can offset 1099 income with expenses.
Yeah.
So, by the way, my coupons just made magically okay on the America side and Canada. Canada was actually
nice
going through coupons. Joel just messaged me, as I said. He said, "Imagine if I did what the European coupons did." I was like, "Please don't,
right?
Please don't."
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to get an arrangement to go to Sanjay Mortimer. I would love to see that show. Love to see it, but I can't just split the cost. That's the problem.
That's so damn expensive.
So the airfare is not even the bad part. It's the hotels are so expensive.
Yeah. And I talked with Georgia briefly, and she was like, "Yeah, well, we run it as a fundraiser for the foundation, so they really don't have any budget to or any, they don't have any basis to justify bringing a photographer out." So
that's the hard part. Well, and they, I hope they get a good venue this year. I know last year's venue was a mess.
It was awkward.
They've been trying to find.
Well, again, it's the cost.
A new one.
Yeah, I don't. I know it's in Manchester, but I don't know where.
So
I know
that's
I was
the
talking to Georgia about it.
So that for people, AJ's doing the TD ones, but that's clearly Uforge related currently. But the locations for the three biggest, well, not maybe the biggest. I don't know how big Murph is, but AJ lives right next to Remurf. I live pretty close to 3D Printopia, and Ian lives in Manchester, or right outside of Manchester. So
it's like you have the three. Now you just need someone at Murph and you're set.
Or do we? No. One of these years I'll get to Murph. It's just there's so much stuff going on. That time of year is hard for me.
Right.
I wouldn't be going to Japan except it's an excuse to go to Japan and charge the business for it. So,
yeah. I won't be making Murph this year. I'm going to still be tired when it comes around.
Yeah.
And if I went, the problem for me is it's 12 hours of travel because of flying to Chicago, renting a car, driving 2.5, 3 hours.
Yep.
If I could fly into South Bend direct, that's different. It's 45 minutes away. I can deal with that. But
So we have for our kids, that's summer swim time, and summer swim time is like every Saturday. They're every day in the pool, indoor and outdoor, and then Saturday mornings early, and those meets are kind of a big deal.
RC, I agree with RC because I went in 23. That was my last year I went, and I could not stay cool. Yeah, and it was too much, and I chose not to return because
I'm a little concerned about what Jerf's going to be like. So I'm not sure. Because Japan gets hot and humid, and I'm not sure how the venue is going to be because a lot of other countries don't have AC like we do.
I would love to. If I had the time off, I would go to Jerf. I can fly to Tokyo direct from Colorado. Done.
Really?
Yeah, United to Tokyo Narita flies every other day.
Oh, Narita. Okay, so that's like 45 miles away from the venue, but
but it's like nothing different than what our venue is. So.
True,
but I could fly direct. I just hop on the 787 and go.
Yep. So we found out that Seattle has the cheapest tickets.
Yes.
So I'm going to go visit Joel and then fly out to Sure.
Yeah, I need to get up to Seattle because there's Joel, Chris, some actual friends of mine from college. Like, I need a 4-day weekend in Seattle.
Yeah. I do know that there are some people trying to start something in or near the Canadian border, Detroit, Toronto area. Because they would really like to have something that's much closer to them.
Upload failed? What?
That would be good.
So
why did the upload fail?
But I feel like, I don't know, if that takes off, I feel like it could kill Murph. Which,
well, we'll see. We'll see what
which is
happens,
like, it's the first one, you know.
Yeah, the biggest issue is a lot of these companies can't go to more than 2, maybe 3 a year.
Yeah.
Of these rep fests. So the more we have, like, everyone wants one. Everyone wants one in Florida and California and Texas.
Right.
It's like
I certainly can't go. 3 is probably my limit.
And it's fine if we have that happen, but it's become a regional event. It's not going to become a nationwide event.
Yeah.
Well, so
AJ, I'm curious. Why is 3-year limit? Like, are you getting enough visitors, enough guests to?
It's not the guests; it's the companies.
Subscriptions.
The companies don't have.
Why? No, I think you're asking me why 3 is my limit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Because
I'm just curious. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
So,
but
you leaving, Zach?
Yeah, I'm out of here. I got work in the morning.
But I just feel like the 3D Printopia draws visitors from a couple of states, and Rocky Mountain draws people from a couple of states. Although it seems to be longer distances, people are willing to drive there. So if there was another one in California or Texas, it'd be bringing in all different people, right?
I'm a single proprietor company. Like I'm a S corp, but I'm one person company. So I have to do development, customer support, all that kind of stuff, and go to the shows. So so too many shows is just too much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
well, and it's the companies. Like West 3D said, maybe 3 a year. Like Fabrico couldn't even make Rocky Mountain. It's just you're stretching these companies thin.
Right.
Yeah. I mean. I wouldn't have even asked one of those companies because I know they're selling via their website,
right?
Across.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. My question was getting at does the show convert to people coming in and getting subscriptions? Because I look at those Hue Forges and I'm like, wow, this is so much more amazing in person than what I thought online,
which is like a super common reaction. So that's so what I'll tell you is the first couple of shows I went to were immediate, huge, responses with lots and lots of extra sales.
Yes. See, I
agree. After the first year, you stop seeing the big surge in orders. Because of a show, I get an equal it's like it becomes very hard to tell, is this show that I'm spending time and money on producing orders? I'm pretty sure it is over the long haul,
right?
And it's probably increasing my long tail, but it's not like immediate. I can't be like, oh, I just paid for that weekend. Like the first couple of shows, I'm like, oh, I paid for the weekend already. Like we're good.
Yeah.
AJ selling CD1s at the show.
Yeah.
Easily paid for his booth. He split the booth with me and stuff. That easily paid for his booth because he didn't, he was like selling on the show. But for me, it doesn't really move the needle as much anymore during the show and in the immediate aftermath of the show. But it is, it's definitely worth it to go see people, talk to people, show people the product, show people what you can make with it, talk to people who are in other areas of 3D printing, not just influencers, but just people in the industry, and get out there and have people know you and that who you are, and that's all worth it. But there's just a certain amount that's worth it. And I'll say that the March, April, and then potentially May or June for another show, 3 months in a row, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
If you don't have a separate team doing it. And I'll tell you that Luke from Big Tree, AJ asked, can Big Tree, cover a little bit of my expenses coming out here because we're the TD1S. And he's like, oh no, we have no more budget. We're not doing it. And then we looked, we're like, oh, no, you are doing it. And he's like, really? And he went and looked. He said, well, I guess because they're so close, we decided to do it, but F that, I'm not going. I'm exhausted. I'm going home. So, but he does everything. It's like, he spent like
costs
6 weeks before Smurf in Europe, hitting all their suppliers and stuff in Europe.
Yeah,
from Formnext, he did Formnext and was in Europe for the whole time, and then went to Smurf and then went home. So like he's on the road, constantly and exhausted. So it just depends. What I'm saying is not necessarily that I wouldn't go to that Hue Forge wouldn't have a presence places, but I might have to say, okay, Ian and like one other person are going to be in Manchester, and I'm not going to be there this year. And I'll pay for the booth, and I'll help someone with airfare who needs airfare there, but I'm not going to be at the booth, and I'm not going to be there because I just can't physically be all those places and do the work that needs to be done to keep Hue Forge moving.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like the small meetups, like Pezlas is saying, I support that because hell, I want to have a small in Colorado just hang out at like Den Hack in 6 months. Hey, come out, let's just spend the day chatting, and everyone just brings one printer and we just chat and hang out for the day, But like Dom, a Geek Toy Box, where he's at in Orange County,
OC Maker Fair.
But he also does 3D printing user group meetups.
Okay.
And so he finds a venue, place once a month or once every other month, and says, "Hey, just come and like." Even Chris Perillo is doing live maker decks in Seattle. Like,
if they do I should message him because if they want to do a maker deck meetup while we're up there, I'd love to go hang out.
No, I would love to get out there. I have to time it with like 6 because Mandic's out there. Ben Pendergast and West 3D is nearby. Like, that's a 4-day trip if I can make it happen.
Yeah, so we have basically the weekend. We'll get in Thursday, and then we fly out at like 4:30 on Monday.
Right.
For Japan. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at flights for Earth, but with Southwest now.
Yeah.
I always take 2 suitcases, so now instead of free luggage, it's going to cost me $140 because I always take 2 suitcases. But if I take United, I get there later and have a higher chance of delays. I'm like, I may not want to fly Southwest, but they currently have the least delays.
They do better going into BWI. If that's where you go.
BWI that's where I fly. I have a buddy who lives 5 minutes from BWI. If I have any issues, I just go to his house. Like,
our guys always fly into IAD into Dulles because that's close to where I live. That's like 40
which
minutes
makes
from where
sense.
I live.
Yeah.
So
if only this northern Colorado airport would get commercial service back. They just built a terminal. They used to have one airline going to Vegas and one other place in California. And then the price of fuel skyrocketed and they shut down. So if we can get just a couple, it was $40 to go to Vegas each way. I was like, I would go to for $40 each way. I'd go to Vegas for a weekend, take a backpack, But I mean, that I could park at work and walk to the airport,
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of always one of those things. So like for me, I'm a United Hub airport. So Denver to DC is easy.
Yeah.
Denver to Seattle is pretty easy, but like going to Atlanta is a little bit trickier. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, everything was Murph and Earth for years. And then we came along with our success, our instant success,
right?
Which was unexpected. And the amount of emails I've gotten where it's just like, I'd like to set one up here. It's so hard to respond. Edge of 3D had a really good explanation for it somewhere. I've got to find that. It's an explanation for why there's a limit.
I mean, I think a European one totally makes sense. It's far enough away, though. You still have a lot of the same vendors going there, but then Vector 3D has a booth there, and E3D has a much bigger booth there, and Prusa has more team there because it's much closer to them. So, like the booths you're getting and the people who are showing up are different.
Yes.
For the most part, some of them are the same. Pooch is almost everywhere.
Yeah.
He won't be going to Japan.
No,
but
I feel though that
he's not at all upset about that.
Right.
But you know, so I mean, something far enough away, but another one in the U.S. is kind of a hard sell to vendors.
Yeah. Well, it's like the only other place everyone wants to have one in Florida and Texas. Set aside the political issues that are currently happening with those states, but location-wise, you're not going to get the volume.
There's a lot of people around
Yes.
Florida and a lot of people in Texas. If you
Yeah,
were in
if you did
Austin,
like
for
a
instance,
Houston
I mean, it would be
or Austin.
expensive.
Yeah.
But I think if you were in Austin, you would get a lot of people. But I think that Remurf fills a lot of that void. I haven't heard a lot of people asking about Texas.
Yeah, I've heard
a lot
Texas
of people
and Florida and Pacific Northwest.
I've heard Florida specifically.
Florida would be it's like the edge of the country at that point.
Yeah, but tons of people go there all the time. For Disney, for the beaches around there, all that stuff. People, the 95 corridor actually makes it really easy to get to Florida.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't be going,
but then it's Florida, Georgia are both pretty big. But then if you North Carolina, Alabama, Missouri,
you get the region, but it's going to be more difficult. You'll get like West 3D might come, but you think they're going to drive from freaking Oregon to Florida?
Smaller booth.
Yeah, they may just ship some stuff ahead, and that's it.
Well, I mean, that's what. Yeah, for our Japanese Rep Festival booth is going to be a whole lot more tamer than.
Yeah. Well,
we're
it'll
not
be interesting. I look forward to
and
seeing
stuff.
what it's going to be. Being an out of nowhere event,
I'm very interested to see what it's going to be. I think it's just going to be an interesting experience. It's going to be really fun to see Ian talking to Japanese people, 3D printers. He said he had a really hard time the first day at Formnext, so we'll see what happens. He said after the first day it was much better, but the first day at Formnext he said he had a very hard time communicating.
Yeah.
But I will say the big professional conferences is that the booths for many of the vendors that we're used to are entirely populated by people who don't speak very good English.
Right.
So and many of them flew in that morning and they are jet lagged to heck.
Well, and then they charge so much. Like stuff for Rapid and Formnext, you're in the tens of thousands.
So the booth spot probably costs $9,000 or $10,000, and then your build out's way over that.
Right.
So when I went to Rapid with Polymaker and I just had a little corner of the booth, and they said, Nick said, "Oh, maybe next year you'll have your own booth." I'm like, "Okay, Nick, what was your booth spot? What was the cost of your booth spot?"
It's
expensive. I don't know how much the spot was, but it was tens of thousands of dollars to build the booth.
Yep.
I was like, "Yeah,
because all you do is ship your stuff and they build it."
Well, they had their own team, and they brought a ton of people in, a ton of people in to run the booth.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, it's gonna be. I don't ever want to get to that size. I'm fine with realistically the 60, 70,000 square feet that we could potentially use in the new building. That's still going to be huge, but we'll see. We've got plenty of time to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that was, one of the things I've talked about with some of the other guys is that if you ever come to a case where your venue is just getting swamped, that might be a case where you're like, we are going to charge a gate fee and it'll all just be donated to Sanjay, Sanjay Moore or something like that.
Split
but
or something.
Just to reduce the number of people who are coming through the door.
Well, I mean, if you're talking 60, 70, 80,000 square feet, whatever you end up doing, you can double the volume of people we had, this year and still be okay. If we're getting 10,000 people, we're probably going to charge $5 a ticket.
But I mean, you're saying 5-6 years. If in the next couple of years you're hitting 7,000-8,000 people, you may have to start charging $5 a ticket and say, hey, these $5 are going for this. They're going for that.
Yeah.
They're going to give us a little bit of a trip afterwards.
The issue becomes with the tickets. The venue also wants a portion. If it's a certain amount, they want minimum $1.
Okay.
But if it's under a certain amount, they take 50 cents.
Okay.
It's a mess because then I have to have someone allocating that money to the venue at the end of it. I mean, already next year they're charging us a booth fee. So like that's part of our price. It's a minimal. It's like nothing, but that's part of the reason for the price increase because they're charging it for anyone who has a booth or a table. So, you guys with your 20 by 10 is going to pay the same booth fee as Maker whatever at his one table.
I'd pay more. I don't mind.
And that's the thing because we already had people complaining about the $25 deposit.
No, the $25 Maker table thing is necessary.
Well, it may change next year. We had 10-12% of ours no show.
Yeah.
It may be $100 deposit, and if you show up, you get 75 of that back.
That makes sense to me.
But I had one lady complain about the $25. I'm like, you could have messaged me. I mean,
no, that's not too much. And Irv had the same problem a couple years ago with making those really cheap, and then half the people were like, "Nah, I can't make it today." It's it's $10.
Well, yeah.
No,
and now it's frustrating to not get an email from these people.
Yeah, right.
You email.
I can't make it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, right. Like I had 30 people on my wait list that I could have gotten on the phone and said, "Hey, are you local? Can you get to the event? I've got a table for you."
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, that's always the hard part. So I think that plan. I think the $100 deposit with a $25 refund is not a bad idea.
Or $75 refund. Yeah.
Right, $75 refund. Sorry, I think most people would be okay with that.
Now the issue becomes at that point we're holding on to someone else's money.
Yeah.
Which I'm hesitant, and the guys are hesitant to do.
Well, so that's where given the number of Maker tables you have, it would make sense to actually set up an escrow, put all the Maker table money into an escrow,
sure,
and then you're not holding the money. The escrow's holding the money. Get that set up and do it. With that much money, it's worth doing. And then you give it back. Now the giving it back is going to be a little annoying, but you give it back.
Well, as long as they show up and exhibit for both days, because we had a few this year who they couldn't exhibit both days, and I understand that, but they've got to do both days. Otherwise, the Sunday
make it $50, and they get a $25 coupon to go use the food trucks while they're there.
Right. Something, Or I mean, right now they pay the $25, and Fabrico is sending them a $25 gift card.
Okay.
Or more. I have no idea what he's going to do, but he said minimum 25. So.
Yeah, but I've heard you saying there were no shows and there were people on the waiting list, and those two factors tell me you should be charging more.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, yes, we should be charging more all around, but. I mean, Dave with Printed Solid the first year sat me down and was like, I'd pay $5,000. But if it was about the money, sure.
Yeah, I think the point though is that many of the vendors are willing to pay more to be at a booth at the show.
Right.
And so if it's, if the matter is, we can't do an after party because we don't have enough money, then you charge a little bit more for for like the platinums. Especially, you just like, hey, platinums are just more. That's going to cover the after party. You guys are covering the after party. Thank you for the platinum sponsors for covering our after party.
Right.
And just be upfront about it. Hey, we're raising the platinum rate this year because it's covering the after party.
Yeah.
So that we can all have free food.
Right.
I don't think anyone would complain about that.
Yeah.
Especially since all the big vendors are going to be more than happy to pay that difference because it doesn't matter to them that much what they're paying.
Right.
And that creates that networking chance that they, it's not easy to do that at the show, when everybody is in their booth.
They're still working.
Yeah. I mean, the number one feedback I get from people all the time is, "Oh, this is amazing. I was stuck in the booth the whole time."
Yeah.
I'm glad you got everything. So,
yeah.
But I think having an after party where all the people that are stuck in the booths normally now get a chance to interact with each other instead of the attendees.
Steve, I can't get this to upload right now, so I need to recut it. And I'm gonna leave it overnight. If it doesn't, I will work on it tomorrow night and Friday night.
Other option that's been working for me, I can give you a OneDrive folder if that'll work better in the future.
Well, I think it's something wrong with either my internet or
Okay.
Maybe
No
the
worries. Just let
file.
me know.
I don't know. I will
Just
get
let
it
me know
figured
when it
out.
shows. You know what? I may not, depending on the size. How big is that?
Hold on. It's 12 gigs.
I have room for that. Okay.
Okay. I don't know if it'll go. It's just saying starting upload, so
Okay.
we'll find out.
No worries. If it doesn't, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Streaming and uploading at the same time might not be a good idea. Come on.
Again, if I had fiber, it wouldn't be an issue. No, I mean, we'll see. I've got to get this stuff cut. I got to talk to the guys. I may just pay a guy to cut everything because I'm not great at video editing, and it's not editing. It's messing with the audio and making sure it doesn't peak. And like, again, Cheesy Chains, he was so far from the mic, but it was clear. So I was able to bring up his audio, but then he peaks because he's going too and far.
I'm terrible at video editing, which is why there still isn't a 090 video out.
Right.
Yeah.
Because every time I sit down to edit my video, I'm like, I could be doing anything else than this right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the hard thing for me. I'm going to clear with the guys to pay.
I did
Grant's
videos from the kids swim team years ago, and I was like, no, this isn't for me.
No, it's not. I just don't have the patience to sit there. Like with the audio so messy, it's bound all over the place depending on how someone's holding the mic. I hate to say it, the only one that did just fine was Joel because he's used to being on a mic. Yeah. He's solid all the way across.
Yeah.
And this is just Saturday. I haven't even started the Sunday stuff.
Yeah. I'm glad we did our Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have it on
yours
Sunday.
Was well attended.
Okay, so we did benefit from the fact that people were coming in early for Joel's thing afterwards, because like we started with a perfectly good number. I was like, this is more than I expected to have, and then we gathered a bunch more. So I was like, wow, we actually have a pretty good crowd. And then by the end, it was standing room only in the back. But then I realized, they're coming here to be early for the trivia. So
well, and we've got to rename the Maker Lounge. People think it's a private space. They don't think it's a speaking area. Maker Lounge sounds like private area. If Fabrico sponsors it again next year, Honey Badger stage.
Well, I mean, just the Maker stage.
Stage is better.
Yeah, something stage.
Better
but
name
if
than
it's
lounge.
if Fabrico does it again, Honey Badger stage. That's his brand.
Yeah.
I wanted to call it. We used a little bit of whatever, like ChatGPT, and I like the melt and make stage.
Okay.
I like that. It's not bad. There's a bunch of others, but the bent nozzle stage.
Don't give me those flashbacks, man.
The hot end stage.
Once was enough.
So there's a bunch of options. It was a lot nicer having that specific space though compared to last year.
Yes, that was a significant upgrade. The screen and the microphones were also.
The screen was the same size screen,
but the projector was better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a 8,000 lumen ultra short throw.
Yeah, that was a much better projector. The build platform.
They actually have a better one that showed up this week that's 12,000 lumens, and we could have turned on the lights.
My only complaint was
awesome because you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the best name.
Yeah, it's got to be something specific. But
in the Maker Lounge, my only complaint was the lighting on the stage, and I figured they probably did it the way they did it for the video.
So we had to, but there was lighting right above the projector screen. You click on that light, it blows out the screen.
Blows everything out. Yeah, I understand. But from taking the still photos point of view, I felt like I was shooting into a dark room.
Yes. And, I had to bring up my exposure on the camera 1.3.
Yeah.
Because it was that low.
So I had to either try that or if I was shooting with the flash, if I was too far away, then it was just like a direct lighting effect, which looks awful. And I tried doing like some indirect stuff. I had like a remote flash on one side of the stage, but then that looked weird.
Next year it might be better because they'll have the 12,000 lumen. We'll see. We'll deal with it. I mean, it's an issue either way. I couldn't get any. They wouldn't let us put a covering. I would have gladly done it. But
if I had spent a little more time, I could have probably put a remote flash in a better spot or something. But I'm always worried about disturbing the speaker with too
big
much
flashes.
and
If you
stuff.
if you just tell the speakers ahead of time, hey, there's gonna be flash. Someone's like Dave's taking pictures.
Yeah.
We might be like, whoa, and then we'll be, oh, right, pictures.
Yeah.
No problem.
I mean, in general, when I'm shooting with a flash, I don't aim it directly at people. It's always like aimed at a ceiling or something. Yeah. And I know from experience, people don't generally react to it. It's not the typical flash pop in your eyes thing that people think of with a camera flash. So I just do it. They've seen you with the big camera. They know stuff's going on. But I was at the end of it, when I was like going to edit those photos, I was looking at all the ones that were on that stage, and every one of them was like, I'm gonna have to like pull up this brightness and tweak some curves,
contrasts,
and but they came out all right. I pulled them out somehow.
Yeah, I mean it's just what it is with that. Just the other option was turn off all the other lighting, but then no one could see where they're sitting, and there was the side lighting, but it was just too dark.
I didn't even know that 3D Print Bunny was there until we were packing up on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean she's awesome. We had them over Tuesday. So they flew in the Tuesday before. They got delayed in LA, and I actually went and picked them up at the airport, took them to Boulder because she's stressing. I'm like, well, I don't care what time it is. I'll just be at the airport. Met him at the stairs or the escalator, and took him to Boulder, and we went to dinner the next night in Denver. Really nice restaurant. And then they came over last Tuesday and hung out for 6-7 hours at where we are, and that was nice. It was just nice to hang out.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see she's been coming to all these shows.
Yeah.
It was a long trip for her.
It was a long trip. Yeah. We met her. We were booth neighbors at Smurf. So I got to talk to her there, which was nice.
Cool.
But so I was like, when I saw her, I'm like, wait, you're here too?
Yeah.
And of course, Esther came from Australia too. Esther came to. I saw her at 3D Printopia, but I didn't really know her at all and hadn't really spent any time talking to her. And people kept talking to her, so I was like, I said 2 words to her. Hey, I like your stuff. I see you're busy. I'll let you go.
Yeah,
and that was pretty much it.
We had. I'll tell you a little story. A couple years ago, I was home at. It was either Christmas or Thanksgiving. I was visiting my parents. My sister had come up from North Carolina to come home, and I had just kind of gotten started getting into 3D printing, and she's like, "Oh, Victoria's gotten into 3D printing. She was doing it at her elementary school." Talking about my niece, and she's like, "Here, look at this," and she pulled up these pictures on her phone of a thing that my niece had designed in like Tinkercad, and that they had 3D printed at the school. And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I looked at it, and I could immediately tell it was like sort of a copy of a 3D Print Bunny design. And I was asking, wait a minute, how did you get the idea for this? And she said, well, our teacher showed us like a whole bunch of pictures of 3D prints, Christmas ornaments and stuff, and then told us to go design our own things. So she didn't like copy the file or download the model. She had made her own model in the image of one of 3D Print Bunny's designs and then printed it. And I had the photo. And I was like, "Oh, that's just amazing." I'm like, I'm going to have to post this on socials. And I tagged 3D Print Bunny. I was a little worried how she was going to react to it, but she loved it. She absolutely loved it. Yeah. So
I just
now every time I see her at the shows, I'm like, my niece is the one who copied your ornament. You inspired her and to do that in school.
Yeah.
So.
She does good stuff. They're just awesome. They're wholesome people. They want to be around.
Creative too. Like
Yes, but I think she brought her daughter to Smurf, and then it looks like she had her husband here.
Yep. Yeah, her husband, and then her dad and the husband's dad and sister flew in on. The dad flew in on Friday, didn't come to the event. I was surprised he didn't come. And then the sister flew in on Monday. So it becomes a big party for them. They get to get away. And
yeah. I mean, and then I'm assuming they stayed around for a little bit. And
yeah, they flew out this past Friday.
Okay. Yep.
They stayed like a week and a half.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to come all the way from Australia.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Esther had to go back to work, but
right.
She's seriously considering 3D Printopia, but like that's got to be too soon, with vacation and everything. And she's like, yeah, I probably can't do that. But then she's like, but March, I can probably do March, but she won't be able to do March and April. So she's got to pick one, Smurf and Murph, or Smurf and Remurf next year.
RC, you said you couldn't find Gabe, and I completely lucked out because I didn't know what I was looking for, but I was hanging out near Joel when Gabe came by to meet him, and Joel and David had a 3D printed stainless steel Lucky 13 that they had made for one of their videos, and they said, "Here, we wanted to give this to you." And I'm standing right there, and I got a chance to get pictures. And if he hadn't introduced himself and they hadn't been giving it to him, I would have not known who that was. And I'm a big admirer of Gabe and his Lucky 13 too. So,
my son prints those things constantly.
But yeah, he's in the photo set if you want to find him. He's got an orange jersey on, and it's a little bit subtle, but the name on the back says Lucky, and the number on the jersey is 13.
I'm looking through them.
Yeah, I mean, we could have called Rocky Mountain Mile High Rep Festival.
That was
Maherf. Bless you.
That was if you're looking for that Gabe picture, it's right after the quiz show stuff. There's a whole section on that with the quiz show, and then his meetings right after that.
I see him. I found him. There you go. Yeah, it's with Joel in the quiz. Yeah, okay. Like it's in that back area.
Yeah.
I'll have to show this to my son. All right, I got to go to bed too. I got to drive in about 4 hours.
I'm going to end it here shortly, but I'm glad to get back to doing this. So
yeah,
it's been way too long.
It's coming up on my bedtime too.
Yep. Yeah, I got to go to bed. My wife's going to be up till midnight because she's doing remote training. She's here, but the training's in Australia, so she's up till midnight.
Gosh.
And it's hard for me to fall asleep because I'm used to falling asleep next to her.
Yep.
And
yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out. For those watching, thank you for watching. We're just going to end the stream here. We'll try to do this again in 2 weeks.
I will not be here.
No big deal. I will still send you the invite because I'm going to forget that. But I appreciate you hanging out.
I
will be in Japan.
Nice.
Maybe I'll be in the chat.
Maybe you'll get Ian, AJ, and I in one room on a laptop. We'll see.
That'd be cool. Or just walking around the event.
Probably. Yeah. Well, no, it won't be the event yet. But
right.
It'll be Thursday.
Yeah.
Not Wednesday, but it'll be Thursday morning. But
right.
Won't be the event yet. All right.
Well, thanks for having me again, Justin.
Thanks, Dave, for your first stream. Welcome to the
Thanks again for taking all the pictures, Dave. Really appreciate it.
I can't figure out why my image quality is so horrible. My lighting. I gotta fix it.
Well, you got blur effect in the background.
Yeah, you have blur effect.
Yeah, that's because this is no good back here. It's a mess.
Well, that you can see my woods back here are totally legit.
Yeah, I gotta get something like that.
In the woods.
But like my face is all pasty white, and I couldn't fix that. All right.
All right, guys.
Definitely not.
Well, thank you for watching. Thank you, everyone else, for watching. I do need to raid out, but I will handle that on my end.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.
All right, guys. Let's see. Maker deck. On the chase. Let's do that. Been a while, so I've got to figure out how to do this. Bear with me. /raid. Gotcha. Okay. So we're going to do /raid Amish Ace. All right. There we go. 1 viewer. Well, everyone else is on YouTube, which that's okay. Eventually. Rating over on Twitch. See what happens. Let's see. I'm just watching. Yeah, I don't have much for rating. All right. Well, I'm going to end it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Everyone have a good night. I don't have an outro.